Mr. Qin. Mr. Qin. What do you want to play today?
Feeling itchy again? Today, let's do something exciting. Let the people in the building opposite watch our performance.
Mr. Qin, you're so naughty.
I'm not naughty. Do you have a chance?
Yes, I finally have a chance to kill you.
Why are you doing this? I trusted you so much.
Trust? You ruined my family. For 3 years, I have wanted to eat your flesh, drink your blood. You commercial tyrant, Ethan Qin.
Who exactly are you?
Go to hell, meet the king of hell.
Where am I? Have I traveled through time?
The late Emperor's decree, pass the throne to the eldest prince Ethan Qin, order Chancellor Smith Lee to assist the nation, together build the country.
Demonic concubine. You dare to assassinate me?
You, an unworthy immortal, also dream of being an emperor. Foolish talk. Why not let the king of Jin take the throne? Let go of me.
Just time traveled and got assassinated. This emperor is truly useless. Dare to mess with me, Ethan Qin, you're courting death. Smells so good.
How dare you, I am your mother consort.
I have heard, during the late emperor's reign, he never favored you, so. You are still untouched.
I belong to the Prince of Jin.
Now, you belong to me.
Your Majesty. The Prime Minister asks you to attend the court.
Mother consort, when I return from the court, I will favor you. This is the current powerful minister, Smith Lee.
Your Majesty, I have acquired a fine steed. This horse is incredibly majestic. I have come to present it to your Majesty.
Playing tricks on me, calling a deer a horse. You treacherous minister. I refuse to believe it. There is no one in court to support me.
Chancellor Lee, this is clearly a dog.
Those who think it's a horse, stand on my left. Those who think it's a dog, stand on my right.
If the Chancellor says it's a horse, then it's a horse.
The court is filled with traitorous followers. I have been sidelined.
This horse is indeed incredibly majestic.
This is truly a fine horse, isn't it?
A fine horse. A fine horse. It's incredibly sturdy.
So is it a horse or a dog?
It's clearly a dog.
Indeed, there's actually a loyal minister in the court.
Traitor. Causing chaos for the king. Calling a horse a dog. Such a crime should be punished by death. Your Majesty. What does your Majesty think? Is this a horse or a dog?
If I answer incorrectly, I'm afraid I'll lose my head. I believe the Prime Minister is right. This is clearly a fine steed.
Your Majesty is wise.
Corrupt officials are in power. This court is not going to last, so be it.
Your Majesty, I have something to report. Your Majesty has come of age. It is time to choose a consort and establish an empress, to produce heirs.
This old man even wants to control my marriage, really treats me like I'm useless.
We second the motion.
Granted.
Announce. The maidens enter the hall.
I want to see which beauties you have chosen for me.
Your Majesty, how about this maiden?
Prime Minister, indeed, you have a unique taste. Hey! What's your name?
Commoner Flora Lee.
How about this maiden?
Old fool, sooner or later, I will have your whole family executed.
Your Majesty, these maidens are all talented, all come from prestigious families. I wonder, Your Majesty. Yes, is there someone you are satisfied with?
The Chancellor has sharp eyes. Indeed, like a torch, I am impressed. Unique taste. However, I like well-endowed women, you know what I mean.
Your Majesty. This woman might meet your requirements. Your Majesty, how is this woman?
Good. Good. Very good.
Your Majesty, this woman is my adopted daughter, virtuous and kind, chaste and modest, possesses the qualities of a queen. I believe she can be made empress.
Sending your adopted daughter to be my empress, just want to control me like this. My dear ministers, any objections?
We second the motion.
Alright, since my dear ministers, no objections. Then let's appoint Maria Mu as empress.
Your Majesty is wise.
Your Majesty is wise.
Your Majesty. I am getting old. I humbly request Your Majesty to allow me to retire to my hometown.
It seems this person is the only loyal minister that can be trusted in the court. Right now, we must first deceive Smith Lee to stabilize the situation. Chief Minister. Even the Prime Minister has sent beauties to me. Aren't you going to show some gesture?
I do not flatter, Your Majesty.
Nonsense, you look down on me. I heard you have a daughter with a beautiful face. Send her to the palace for me.
My daughter lacks virtue and talent. How can she be worthy of marrying the emperor?
What virtue or talent is needed? Being pretty is enough. I'm a face person. I only care about looks.
Absolutely not.
Hey! Me marrying your daughter is your good fortune. How dare you refuse me?
For a woman, beating a high-ranking court official, truly a foolish ruler.
Your Majesty, forcing me to marry off my daughter, unable to distinguish loyalty from treachery, indeed the actions of a foolish ruler.
The Prime Minister sends beauties to me, is a loyal minister of the country. You do not send beauties to me, a treacherous minister. Prime Minister, for such disloyal and unrighteous people, how should they be dealt with?
Your Majesty, for such disloyal and unrighteous people, they should be dismissed and investigated, thrown into the death cell, to serve as a warning to others.
The Prime Minister is absolutely right. If you don't send your daughter to the palace, we'll throw you into the death cell and execute your whole family.
Foolish Emperor, oh foolish Emperor. Can't discern right from wrong, confusing loyalty and treachery, harming the virtuous.
Still dare to scold me, don't you, guards? Take him away, and beat him for me.
Foolish ruler. Foolish ruler.
Beat him with 10 strokes. 10 strokes. Prime Minister. Today, I will appoint an empress. Then, these court ladies, why not give them to my beloved ministers? How about it? These court ladies were all carefully selected by the Prime Minister, handpicked. If you don't accept them, it's like saying, the Prime Minister doesn't have a good eye, disgracing the Prime Minister, not giving the Prime Minister face.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you, Prime Minister.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
The king is foolish and ignorant. Treacherous officials are in power. The Yu dynasty's reign is unstable. Chunner. I am powerless. I can only marrying you off to that foolish emperor.
Father, you need not blame yourself. If there's blame, it lies with that unrighteous emperor. For you, for the Qing family, I am willing to enter the palace.
Chunner. You've suffered.
Father, don't worry. My daughter will protect herself.
Okay.
Queen, beloved consort, I'm here. Skin like creamy jade, hands like soft, neck like, teeth like a crescent moon, delicate eyebrows, charming smile, beautiful eyes, beautiful days. Beauty.
I didn't expect this foolish emperor to have some literary talent. What are you doing?
Queen, tonight is our wedding night. What do you think I want to do?
Ah,
The noble consort is still here. Just right for sharing the same bed. Let's have a dragon playing with 2 phoenixes.
Your Majesty. Take care of your health.
Have I neglected you? Be good. Shoulders as if carved, waist like a slender thread. Red lips and white teeth, bright red lips, truly a beauty.
This foolish emperor must have copied someone else's poetry.
Please stand up. Noble consort. How about? You stay aside for now. Watch the Empress and me practice in the same room, so you can learn a thing or two later. Come serve me again.
The foolish emperor is so shameless.
The foolish emperor is indeed debauched.
I am here. The more you struggle, my dear concubine, the more excited I become. Today, I'll let you experience the feeling of floating like a fairy.
Your Majesty, see, you let the noble concubine leave first, so I can serve you well.
Oh, the Empress is shy. My dear concubine, you go back first. We'll fight another day.
Prepare to die, foolish emperor.
That's not right. Why would you want to kill me on such a joyous day?
You employ wicked people, exploiting the people and taking their wealth, leaving the people in misery. Everyone in the world wishes they could tear you apart and eat your flesh.
Your foster father is a treacherous villain. That's Smith Lee. Why kill me instead of him?
Smith Lee has skilled guards. I can't get close to him.
You have a grudge against him.
A blood feud for killing my father.
So he sent you to the palace to assassinate me.
Killing you is my own idea.
Then why did he send you? He wanted me to bear you a son. What a scheme. To bear me a son and then kill me afterwards, governed by oneself, then become the retired emperor.
How do you know?
Guess.
What are you doing?
Of course, helping you complete the task. Have a son.
Let go of me, foolish emperor.
You've already called me a foolish emperor. If I don't sleep with you, wouldn't it be a waste of the title of foolish emperor?
For you, this foolish emperor, to have a son, I'd rather die.
It seems this emperor really isn't a good person to be hated like this. You sure have a lot of backbone. You'd rather die than have a child with me. Just as the envoy from the Woe Kingdom is coming tomorrow. We'll show you how this foolish emperor stirs up the situation so you'll willingly have a child with me.
Your Majesty, long live forever. Your Majesty. The ancestors once said, the harem should not interfere with politics. The Empress presiding over court affairs goes against the ancestral teachings. It is not in accordance with the rules. Whose side are you on? I am Minister Lee. I am on your Majesty's side.
You are my subject. Are you using the founding emperor to suppress me?
Our dynasty rules with benevolence and filial piety. The laws of the ancestors do not change.
Then go ask the founding emperor. See if the founding emperor allows me to reform.
What does your Majesty mean by this?
I mean, you can go see the ancestors now. Guards, take him away and execute him.
Foolish Emperor. You are slaughtering ministers. Where is justice? Prime Minister Lee, save me.
Killing loyal ministers. This is not the action of a wise ruler.
The Empress is your daughter. She disrespected the Empress in public. It's a slap in your face. I am doing this for you, to restore your dignity. Prime Minister. Take him away. Does anyone else want to speak up?
This foolish emperor. Why does he seem like a different person today?
Where is the envoy from the Woe Kingdom?
Your Majesty, the state of Woe has sent 300,000 troops to occupy Jali and station them at our border, threatening our land of Yuandong. Their wolfish ambition is evident.
Woe, such a small country, dares to offend the mighty Yu dynasty. Quickly dispatch troops to destroy them.
Your Majesty, the national treasury is empty now, and the West is suffering from drought. The military is under-equipped and underfunded, with no morale at all. Moreover, the envoy from the state of Woe has already arrived in the capital. I suggest ceding land for peace.
Negotiating peace? You want me to negotiate with such a tiny country? Where is my dignity? Where is the dignity of the Yu dynasty? Summon them to come in and meet me.
Envoy Hitomi Fujiwara, Saburoaoi, greetings, your majesty.
Rise.
When he was far away in Liadong, I heard that the emperor of the Yu dynasty was an incompetent fool. Seeing him today, it turns out the rumors were true.
How dare you insult the emperor of our dynasty?
Did I slander the emperor? Open your eyes and see what that foolish ruler is doing. Isn't your celestial empire known for its etiquette? The ruler of a nation, attending court with his concubine, brazenly being inappropriate, shame on you. MPH, that's right, a foolish ruler like you should abdicate and let the worthy take over.
Ha ha ha, abdicate and let the worthy take over, in the world. Who is more virtuous than I am?
MPH, you incompetent ruler, and you talk about virtue, such arrogance. Even a pig from the pigsty is more virtuous than you. You foolish ruler, all you know is indulgence in luxury, a life of debauchery and excess, truly the most useless emperor.
How dare you? Insult me, guards, drag him out and execute him.
Ah, your majesty, please calm down. It's against the rules to kill an envoy during a war between two countries.
You foolish emperor, do you dare to kill me? Our dynasty has an army of 300, stationed in the east, ready to charge at any moment, marching south, targeting the Yu dynasty.
How dare you? You dare to threaten me?
Yes, it's a threat. Do you really dare to kill me?
This foolish emperor is just a paper tiger. Ultimately useless.
Our emperor turns out to be just a braggart.
Do you think I wouldn't dare?
Come on, strike here. Don't let me look down on you. Come on, you foolish king.
Kill.
Your majesty, you must not.
I've told you, do not threaten me.
I didn't expect this foolish king to be so bold.
To dare execute without guilt, recklessly killing an envoy.
HMPH. Executing without guilt. The Yu dynasty is a celestial empire, leading all nations. To dare in front of me, to call oneself the son of heaven, is seeking one's own death.
This foolish king has some quick wit.
Aren't you afraid of easily starting a war? Our dynasty has 1 million strong soldiers, ready for battle, anytime we can break through Yuandong, and directly threaten the Central Plains.
I am a time traveler. Why would I be afraid of you little devils? If you want war, then war it is. I have thousands upon thousands of Yu dynasty soldiers. Prime Minister, immediately recruit soldiers nationwide. Send them to Liaodong. I want to see how many lives this Woku country has to throw into the fray.
I've long heard that the new ruler of the Yu dynasty is unruly, treating human lives like grass. It seems it's not just a rumor.
If you're just here for lip service, then get lost. I don't have time to play with you here. With this time, I'd rather go and indulge a bit. Where are my queen and concubine?
Always thinking about that. Truly a tyrant without virtue.
I heard that the Yu dynasty is full of talented people, skilled in both literature and martial arts. And there are thousands of them. Today, on behalf of the whole kingdom, I challenge the Yu dynasty. You all dare to accept the challenge?
Why wouldn't I dare? Do you want a battle of words or a physical fight? Do you want a one-on-one or a group fight? Both literary and martial competitions. Our side will send 5 people to compete. Alright, every competition should have some stakes. If your Yu dynasty loses, you must give the winter region to our country. Alright, betting national territory. Foolish ruler, truly a foolish ruler. Your Majesty, you must not. Why not? The land of Yuan winter is where the ancestors of the Yu dynasty fought for 6 generations with great efforts, conquered over 100 years of time. How can you easily give it to others? Okay, guards, drag him out for me, give him 50 lashes. Your Majesty, what crime have I committed to deserve such punishment? As the Minister of War, you are cowardly before the battle, disgraceful. I advised for the country. Honest advice is hard to hear. Such disloyal people, is there anything wrong with me punishing him like this? Not excessive. This foolish emperor can't tell loyalty from treachery, always consulting the treacherous prime minister. It's utterly foolish. What if our Yu dynasty wins? Win. With an incompetent ruler like you, you still want to win. I may be incompetent, but I'm not foolish. How can there be a competition, with only one side offering a prize? Prime Minister, what do you think? Your Majesty is absolutely right. Good, if your Yu dynasty wins, I'll hand over Gaoli to you. Gaoli was never the territory of the Wo kingdom. If I wanted it, I would send troops to attack. Then what prize do you want? Oh dear, I just happen to need a maid. The queen of the Wokuo is perfect for this position. You.
How dare you? How dare you insult our queen?
You come to challenge the Yu dynasty. It's just asking for humiliation. I'm just fulfilling your wish.
What an arrogant tyrant.
Stop blabbering. Just say if you dare or not.
Why wouldn't I dare?
Good, then see you in the arena in 3 days.
It's a deal.
Prime Minister, you immediately organize the ministers to prepare for the challenge.
Your Majesty, what do you mean by this?
I have accepted the challenge from the state of woe. There's no way I'm peering by Misif. Prime Minister, you are my right-hand man. Assist me in leading the country. Govern the world. Such a small matter should not be difficult for you, Prime Minister.
Is this foolish emperor really stupid or just pretending? He's planning to shift the blame to Smith Lee if we lose.
I obey your command.
Good. Let's happily decide on this and dismiss the court.
The Emperor is setting you up. If we lose, the responsibility of losing territory will fall on you. But if we win, this is the Emperor's talent for recognizing and appointing the right people. How could he be a foolish emperor? How did he get this opportunity? I believe a foolish emperor should accept the challenge. He's just greedy for beauty and appearance.
Suhai, go find a few craftsmen. Make the things on this blueprint for me.
Yes, Your Majesty. Emperor of the Yu dynasty, what about those who are taking the written exam?
Prime Minister, what about the people we organized?
Your Majesty, due to the tight schedule, haven't found anyone suitable yet.
Oh dear, in that case, we can only postpone for a few days, and have the competition later. What do you think?
If there's no competition today, then you might as well just admit defeat, and cede the Dong region to our country.
Since that's the case, we have no other choice. Prime Minister, what do you think?
Foolish emperor, if you dare to cede Yuandong, I'll perish with you.
My beloved consort, don't kill me. I'll listen to you. I won't cede Yuandong.
What's this foolish emperor doing?
He really is a foolish emperor, to be controlled by a mere woman.
This is called marital fun. You know nothing.
MPH, so are you competing or not?
Compete or not? Compete, of course. Why wouldn't I? Our Yu dynasty is full of fierce generals and talented scholars. Which one of these people here hasn't earned a place on the honor roll? Dealing with you all is more than enough. Nate Cai, Minister of Justice, was appointed as the top scholar by the late emperor with exceptional literary talent. Prime Minister, what do you think?
It's possible.
Zhou Li, the left censor-in-chief, is the right-hand man of the Prime Minister. He seems to be a talented person as well.
Your Majesty. My knowledge and ability are limited, and I am unworthy of this position.
Limited knowledge and ability. Then how did you become the left censor-in-chief? It couldn't have been bought, right?
I am willing to fight for the Yu dynasty.
That's the spirit. With two such figures in our Yu dynasty, talented and knowledgeable, minister with extensive learning, are you still afraid of them?
I will certainly do my best to live up to your Majesty's trust. There are a total of 5 matches, and you only have 2 people.
2 people are enough to deal with you. However, for the sake of fairness, I, along with my 2 consorts, have decided to join you.
This foolish emperor is so frivolous, treating the competition between 2 countries as a game.
Is this true?
It is true. I am the son of heaven. My words are law.
Emperor of the Yu dynasty, do you dare to raise the stakes?
Sure. What's the bet?
Life. The loser will be at the mercy of the winner.
This is fun. I like it. Let's start quickly. I can hardly wait. What's the first round about? Poetry.
We will send the great Wei poet Saint Samda.
Good. Minister Nate, you have the talent of a champion. I think you are quite talented. For this first round, you will be the one to fight.
Your Majesty, I.
What is it? You are a top scholar. Are you afraid of that not so famous Samdu?
Your Majesty. Samda is the poetry sage of the Wei dynasty. His poetry is unmatched across the land. I consider myself no match for the poetry sage. If you concede, then prepare to face the consequences.
Stop. This is the territory of the Yu dynasty. How dare you kill the innocent indiscriminately?
A bet is a bet. Emperor of the Yu dynasty. You lost?
He lost? I did not lose.
A dignified ruler of a nation actually uses cunning words and makes unreasonable arguments.
You are Han, right?
So what if I am? A wise bird chooses a good tree to nest in. A loyal minister chooses a good ruler to serve.
All my life, I have despised traitors. Old man, why don't you and I compete in poetry?
What is this foolish emperor doing? How dare he gamble poetry with a poetry sage?
I have heard that the emperor of the Yu dynasty is incompetent and foolish. Uneducated and incompetent, ignorant. What skills do you have to compare with me?
Do you dare or not?
Why wouldn't I dare? What are you betting?
Just now you killed someone in front of me. I'm very displeased. So for this round's bet, let's use your guard's life, and this Samdu's life, in exchange for my life. How about it?
Is he crazy, actually betting life for life?
It's a deal.
Fine, old man, don't say I'm bullying you. You come up with the topic. I've read plenty of Tang and Song poetry. I'll crush you, you traitor.
Well then, let's make the moon our topic. How about the time it takes for an incense stick to burn? What do you think?
A couplet. It doesn't need to take that long. When will the bright moon appear? I raise my cup to ask the blue sky. I don't know the heavenly palaces above. What year is it tonight? I want to ride the wind back there, but fear the jade towers, too high and cold to bear. Dancing with my shadow, how does it compare to being on earth? Turning to the red pavilion. Leaning against the ornate door, illuminating sleeplessness, there should be no resentment. When will it always be full when we part? People have joys and sorrows, partings and reunions. The moon has clouds and clear skies, fullness and wane. This has been hard to achieve since ancient times. I only wish for lasting companionship. Across 1,000 miles, sharing the beauty of the moon.
The foolish ruler can actually speak eloquently. He's truly a genius. The composition of these words is so unique and full of romance. It can definitely be passed down through the ages.
Good poem. Good poem indeed. A masterpiece for the ages.
It's just average. Old man, it's your turn. Come on. Show it.
Impossible, an ignorant and incompetent ruler. How could he write such a good poem? He must have copied it.
Yes, he copied it. Copied the works of the literary giant Sudompa. If you have the ability, you copy one too.
I've never seen this poetry sage as Sudon Pore.
That's because of your shallow knowledge. What about your poetry?
I
can't come up with anything. Then you lose.
I admit defeat.
Well, I've long heard that young people have strong marrow, while the elderly have empty marrow. I've been wanting to find an opportunity to try it out. Today, I'll use you for the experiment. Guards, take him away.
You tyrant. Tyrant. A despot daring to experiment on living people. You're worse than a beast. Heaven will not forgive you.
From the moment you colluded with the people of Wugwa. You are not human anymore. Take him away, break his bones and test his marrow.
You are a foolish ruler, tyrant, foolish ruler. Aho? Your Majesty, upon inspection, the young man's bone marrow is strong, the old man's bone marrow is empty, it is true.
Since it has been verified, then take them away to make soup, just right, add a meal for our envoy from the Woe Kingdom.
Yes. This round cannot be counted as your win, you already conceded earlier.
Fine, I am very generous, this round counts as your win.
The second round, compete in archery to see who is more accurate.
Alright.
You. Who should we send out? Your Majesty, I have been weak since childhood. I'm not good at riding and archery.
The court is in need of people now. Yet you are making excuses. What use do I have for you?
Please forgive me, Your Majesty.
I am wholeheartedly planning for the country. If I lose, the land of Yaonong will be lost. I would be an eternal sinner of the Yu dynasty.
Makes sense.
Your Majesty, I am willing to go to battle.
No, the privy envoy is not on the list for the battle.
Which of my beloved concubines is willing to go to battle for me?
Your Majesty, I have learned horseback archery. I am willing to fight for the country.
Hee. Is your Yu dynasty out of people? Sending a woman to fight.
You little devils, don't be arrogant. Talk after you win.
Win? We can win even lying down. The one we're sending is our country's strongman, Kamita Milhan Mar. He can pull a 4-stone bow.
Xiao Hazy, go and fetch my bow.
Yes. Each person gets 3 arrows. Whoever can shoot the farthest target, and has the most arrows on the target will be the winner. Kamita, you go first. Kamita hit the target twice with 3 arrows.
Why is this bow so light? Yay, I won.
You cheat.
Cheat? How could I cheat in front of everyone? My beloved, you all are. Sore losers. Kamita hit the 3rd ring and lost. His life belongs to me. I kill if I want to.
Fine. Don't get cocky. There are still 2 more rounds. The outcome is yet to be determined.
What are we competing in?
Next round, we'll compete in speed. Both will make a move at the same time. The one who survives wins.
What are the rules?
There are no rules. Surviving is the rule.
Fine, I'll personally participate in this round.
Your Majesty, your life is invaluable. The safety of the world depends on you. You must not put yourself in danger.
Nonsense. Do I need you to tell me how to do things?
What's this foolish emperor up to?
A ruler's words are not to be taken lightly. If you lose, your life will be mine.
You all, talk after you win.
Ready. Start.
Sir, the times have changed.
You're not playing fair. You're using hidden weapons.
You're the one who said there were no rules. How can you blame me for not playing fair? Besides, he lost, so his life is mine too. I just dealt with it in advance.
Is this even allowed?
Although this tyrant's methods are shameless, it's not a fair victory, but he did win the 1st round.
Do you admit defeat?
Admit defeat.
Sai, I have won this round for the Yu dynasty. Why aren't you congratulating me?
Oh, your Majesty is so mighty. Your Majesty is wise.
Wow, wow, wow. Handsome. My beloved consort, return to your place.
Stop with the useless flattery. We still have the 4th round.
Compete in what?
We'll compete in mathematics.
This bastard. It's like going to the bathroom with a lantern to find trouble. HMPH. I aced advanced mathematics. How do you challenge me in math?
Who among you will you send to compete? Your Majesty. I am not skilled in mathematics.
You can't do this either. Nor can you do that. What use do I have for keeping you around? Drag him out and deal with him after autumn.
Your Majesty, I'm wronged. Your Majesty, I'm truly wronged.
You claim to be wronged. You are not wronged at all. You can't serve the ruler nor benefit the people. You just occupy your position and do nothing, engaging in petty schemes. What use do I have for keeping you around? Take him away.
Your Majesty, if you kill Jolie, we won't have anyone left.
Don't I still have the Empress?
Your Majesty, I cannot do it. I can't do it.
If you can't do it, then just admit defeat gracefully, hand over the queen to me, and then give the land of Yaonan to our country.
The queen is just being modest. You don't know anything. Bring it on.
Well, if the queen can calculate it within the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, then you haven't won.
So hurry up and give us the question. I still need to make time to make babies with my 2 beloved concubines.
There is an object today whose number is unknown. Divided by 3, remainder 2. Divided by 5, remainder 3. Divided by 7, remainder 2. What's the number?
That's it. Isn't this an elementary math problem?
Light the incense.
Hey!
Let go, you foolish king.
Give me a kiss, and I'll tell you the answer.
Really?
I never lie. $23. There are 2 more answers if you agree to sleep with me tonight. I'll tell you. If you agree to sleep with me tonight, I'll tell you. My new marriage with the Empress inevitably made me lose control. Neglecting this beloved concubine.
You all go ahead and play. There's not much time left.
Has the Empress figured out the answer?
May I ask, dear envoy, how many answers are there to this question?
1.
Clearly, there are 3.
Impossible.
My Empress cannot be wrong. You must have made a mistake.
Surely, you all are wrong.
How about we bet again? If you are wrong, I will have you castrated. If the Empress is wrong, I will cede Yanyan Prefecture to you. How about that?
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Absolutely not, Your Majesty. Yanyan Prefecture is the gateway to the Central Plains, once lost. The Central Plains will have no defenses.
How dare you? You even dare to question the Empress. Are you trying to rebel?
Your Majesty, I am loyal to the country. Heaven and earth can testify.
If it weren't for the sake of the noble consort, I would have executed you on the spot today.
Emperor of the Yu dynasty, are you really going to bet?
My word is as good as gold.
Alright, then let the Empress reveal the answer. Everyone can judge for themselves.
Empress, quickly tell him.
23. 233. Land 38.
338. 338. Did everyone hear that clearly?
Impossible. Impossible.
Your Majesty, the Empress's answer is completely correct. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Congratulations, Empress.
Both of you have done a great service for the country today. Tonight, I will definitely reward you well. Someone, take him away from me. Send him to the Ministry of Rights. Castrate him. Then send him out of the country. Oh, by the way, don't forget to bring the Queen of the Woe Kingdom here. She will serve as my chambermaid.
Your Majesty, what are you doing?
Guess.
Are you preparing to deal with Smith Lee?
Minister Lee has contributed to the court, contributed to the country. Why would I want to deal with him?
Then what are you doing?
A prime minister, what is his duty? The emperor's assistant. If an assistant wants to control the emperor, then he has overstepped. Overstepped. Must be punished, just like the empress.
What about me? What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Let go of me.
You promised me during the day.
You scoundrel.
You are my empress. It's perfectly legal and reasonable for us to be together.
Ah, you tyrant. Let go of me.
Since I'm already called a tyrant, I should indulge in pleasures and revelry every night.
It hurts. Be gentle.
Drinking lightly in front of others, embracing softly by the lamp, turning back into an embrace full of affection, pain, pain, pain. Gently pushing the man. Gradually hearing the trembling voice, slightly surprised, blushing.
Lewd words and erotic poems, shameless.
I don't even know who was enjoying so much last night.
You're just craving my body, despicable.
Oh, I am indeed a foolish ruler, a vulgar scoundrel. Yet you still insist on coming to me.
Bastard.
Your Majesty. The Empress Dowager requests your presence.
Suhai. Immediately select elite personnel, form the Plum Blossom Inner Guard, monitor the court and the harems, every move. Mother, a day without seeing you feels like 3 years. I missed you so much.
Let go, I am your mother.
What if I don't let go?
Foolish Emperor, what do you want to do?
Shut up and look up, look at me. A smile that captivates all, the beauty of the palace is dull. I finally understand now, why my father took you from my royal uncle.
Neither you nor your father are good people.
HMPH. Then my royal uncle is a good person.
Of course. Prince Jean is handsome and charming, talented and intelligent. Loyal and righteous, a man among men.
This seductive person indeed has an affair with Prince Jin.
Minister of Justice, Minister of Rights, and the left censor-in-chief's successors, have you arranged them all?
Does the Dowager want to know, or does Prince Jin want to know?
Is there a difference?
Of course there is. If the Dowager wants Prince Jin to know. Just give me a kiss, and I'll tell you.
How dare you be so forward with the late emperors?
The late emperors, wasn't he always thinking about having an affair, benefiting others? Why not benefit me?
Foolish ruler.
Kiss or not? This Dowager, so, you're a hopeless romantic, huh? Don't let yourself be taken advantage of. You might end up counting money for someone who just sold you out.
Your Majesty, there's trouble. There's a flood in Jiangnan. The ministers are waiting for your Majesty's decision.
You still haven't given me an answer.
If Prince Jin wants to place his own people, he'll have to pay a price, right?
What do you want?
I want you.
Your Majesty, there's a flood in Jiangnan. The people are displaced, cries of suffering are everywhere.
Starvation is everywhere.
Prime Minister, why don't you provide disaster relief?
The national treasury is lacking grain now. Moreover, we have to deal with the Wo Kingdom, sending troops in winter. We can't provide disaster relief.
The grain reserves are insufficient. We can give the people meat to eat. No. Why do all my ministers have such expressions? Am I wrong in saying this? Why not eat minced meat porridge?
Your Majesty is unaware. The people can't even have a meal. How can they have meat?
If the people aren't eating, what are they eating? Which department is responsible for disaster relief?
Your Majesty, it is the Ministry of Revenue.
Then tell me, what do the people eat in a year of great disaster?
In a year of great disaster, the people with slightly better conditions eat wheat bran, rice husks, wild vegetables. The people with worse conditions eat tree bark, tree roots, guani and clay. Even to the point of exchanging children to eat.
What? Exchanging children to eat? Are these unruly people even human? They even eat children.
Your Majesty, the people who are on the verge of starving are no longer human. As long as they can survive, they will eat anything.
Such unruly people, let them starve to death then there's no need for disaster relief.
Your Majesty, you must not. Prime Minister, what do you mean by this? If we don't provide disaster relief, the disaster victims will take desperate measures and rebel. The Jiangnan region is our dynasty's, heavy taxation is the foundation of the nation, it must not be neglected.
Then let the Ministry of Revenue handle the disaster relief.
Your Majesty, the National Treasury has no surplus grain.
Grain? Who said to give them grain to eat? Such unruly people, feed them wheat bran and rice husks.
Your Majesty, you must not. Wheat bran and rice husk, that's feed for livestock. How can you give it to people?
Just give them good. Such a vile person even dares to eat children.
Your Majesty.
This matter is settled. Anyone who dares to speak more will have their entire family executed. My dear Minister, this matter, I'll leave it to you to handle.
I will follow your orders.
A few days ago, the Empress Dowager told me that the late Emperor appeared to her in a dream. He wanted me to build a temple on Zijin Mountain in Jinling, called Shengxian Temple, for the ascension of his soul. What do you all think about this idea?
Your Majesty, the talk of spirits and ghosts is rather vague and uncertain. If, based on just the Empress Dowager's words, we pursue this for fame and fortune, it might not be appropriate.
Our Yu dynasty governs with filial piety, Chief Minister. Is this trying to make me unfilial?
Your Majesty.
I
have absolutely no such intention.
What does the Prime Minister think?
Your Majesty's filial piety is a blessing for all the people.
Since the Prime Minister agrees, issue the decree.
Announce the decree. Immediately conscript labor on Zion Mountain in Jinling to build the ascension platform and the summer resorts for the late Emperor's enjoyment.
What a foolish ruler. Clearly, it's you who wants to enjoy it, yet you falsely claim it's for the late Emperor.
Jack Cheng, if you dare speak nonsense again, do you believe I'll have the concubine dragged out and executed?
You.
Right now, there's a flood disaster in Jiangnan. Starting forced labor at this time might provoke a rebellion.
I've already given them wheat bran and rice husks to eat. What's wrong with having them do some work, and they still want to rebel? It's simply outrageous.
Since ancient times, it's been the court's duty to provide disaster relief. It's a fundamental principle.
In this world, there's no such thing as a fundamental principle. This rule needs to be changed.
This move might invite criticism. It's harmful. Your Majesty is wise.
Then let's put it another way. Call it work for relief. No work, no food. Let these troublemakers starve. Prime Minister, what do you think of this idea? How is it? It shows my filial piety, right? And it can also provide disaster relief. It's killing two birds with one stone.
Your Majesty is wise.
Good, then this matter is happily decided. Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, I want to go back and play with my beloved concubine. Okay. Court is dismissed.
Court is dismissed.
Foolish ruler. Foolish ruler, how dare you give the victims wheat bran and rice husk? Are you even human?
Sister, don't get excited. His Majesty must have his reasons for doing this.
Reasons? He treats the victims like livestock. What reasons could he have?
You and your father are both brainless. All you know is fighting, killing.
That's still better than you, the foolish ruler.
Foolish ruler. I am a foolish ruler, then you tell me what to do.
Naturally, it's about opening the granaries to distribute food, to relieve the disaster victims.
Opening the granaries to distribute food. Can it really ensure that the people have enough to eat?
Of course.
Opening the granaries to distribute food will only lead to more deaths among the people.
How is that possible?
If the granaries are open to distribute food, local officials will surely collude with merchants to embezzle the grain.
How dare they embezzle the disaster victims' grain?
With adequate profit, people's courage grows. With some profit, they dare to defy the law. With triple the profit, they are risking losing their heads.
Well, won't anyone report them?
Report? Who would report them? From bottom to top, they're all their people. Even if someone wants to report, they would have been silenced long ago.
But even if they're embezzling, they wouldn't dare take everything. The disaster victims can still get food.
The people can eat a meal of rice soup. Can they really be full? They can't get enough to eat, so they'll pay high prices to buy food from the officials.
So they take the opportunity to inflate prices.
Yes. What if the money runs out? Sell land. All the land is sold. What to do? Corrupt officials force them to sell their children.
Those people deserve to be punished severely, Your Majesty. You must quickly send someone to arrest them.
Arrest them? How to arrest them? Do you have any evidence?
If there's no evidence, send someone to investigate.
All right. I appoint you to investigate. Before you arrive, they've already set the grain on fire. They've killed people to silence them and fled.
How despicable these people are.
In this world, the most despicable thing is the human heart. For money, they will do anything.
But you can't. Feed the victims wheat bran and rice husks.
Only by doing this can we save their lives.
Your Majesty, what do you mean by that?
Wheat bran and rice husks are usually fed to livestock. The profit is not high, so those corrupt officials won't risk losing their heads to embezzle.
But wheat bran is not for human consumption.
Can those disaster victims still be considered human?
What did you say?
What I mean is, in this year of great disaster, for those who are on the brink of starvation, not to mention rice bran and wheat husks, even tree bark and grass roots, they would eat them. Even children are just a lump of flesh in their eyes. You think I am completely inhumane, don't you?
Yes.
Fine, fine, fine. You are loyal. I am treacherous. You are virtuous. I am mediocre. You have taken all the good reputation in the world. All the bad reputation in the world is borne by me. Is that okay?
You are inherently a foolish ruler.
Then let me tell you, 1 pound of rice can be exchanged for 3 pounds of rice bran. Originally, the food could save 1 person. Now it can save 3 people. Your turn. What would you do? Of course, save the 3 people. Look, didn't you make the same choice? The way to govern a country, great kindness is impersonal. Small kindness stops evil.
So, you are still a good emperor then?
No, I am an incompetent ruler.
Why do you willingly become an incompetent ruler?
Because being an incompetent ruler means I can do things without constraints, unlike a wise ruler who has to be cautious in everything they do.
So, the incompetent ruler is just an act, right?
Actually, it's not. I am genuinely playing the role of an incompetent ruler. Being an incompetent ruler is great. For instance, no one knows what I'll do next.
You won't. Who are you setting a trap for again?
They are all my subjects. Who am I setting a trap for?
What do you mean by this?
Li Feng fabricated rumors. Deceived me. A crime of deceiving the emperor. According to the law, he should be executed.
How did he deceive you?
He blatantly in the court told me that rice bran could be used for disaster relief. It could be given to the disaster victims to eat. Then he misled me, made me use rice bran for disaster relief. Isn't this deceiving the emperor?
Are you trying to shift the blame?
I'm not trying to shift the blame. I was just misled by traitors and have now come to my senses.
You're just a scoundrel.
Your Majesty, the flood in Jianghan has receded. The victims are working for relief. Although they are not eating well, at least they have survived.
Suhai, pass on my decree. Gather the skilled craftsmen from all over the land. I want to build a jade pool. A pool of wine with forests of hanging meat. Invite the beauties of the world to drink together.
Your Majesty. This move might provoke criticism. Those imperial censors will criticize His Majesty. Let them criticize and complain as they wish.
I will do what I want, whatever I want. Why should we care about them? Me, Minister of Rights, Minister of Works and Chief Censor, these 3 positions, I must secure them.
Your Highness wants me to serve a traitor.
Me, I also want to be with you forever. But I have no power or influence now, I simply cannot protect you.
Your Highness, I am willing to elope with you in red attire, wander the world from then on, even if we have to eat coarse food. I would have no regrets even if it costs my life.
Under the heavens, all land belongs to the king. Where could the 2 of us escape to? Only when I ascend to the throne, can we be together forever.
Prince, the Emperor's throne, to you, is it really that important?
Mir, why can't the 2 of us be together forever? Isn't it because my brother is the Emperor? He has power and influence. Mir, I truly don't want you to suffer any harm. Really.
Prince, take me today.
No. Mir. If I take you, that foolish emperor will surely find out. What's up? Did the Dowager call me here because she missed me? In the north, there is a beauty, rare and independent. A single glance topples a city, another glance topples a nation. The Dowager's beauty is truly irresistible.
Is it just that I promise you? You will give the Minister of Justice, Minister of Rights, and the Censorate, all to Prince Jean.
As long as the Dowager serves me well, your wishes, I can fulfill them all.
What do you want?
I have recently come up with a new way to play. Oh no, tying up, dripping wax, little whips, a unique skill that works everywhere. This is a new game I've just invented. Is the consort interested?
You kide.
How can this be called? This is a man's pleasure. What men love most is conquering women, especially someone as beautiful as the consort.
You shameless.
Oh dear, since the consort says so, then I won't force you.
Wait.
Is the consort reluctant to part with me?
Do you mean what you say?
I am the emperor, my words carry weight.
What do you want? Bring it on.
Oh, it seems. This concubine is really willing to sacrifice herself for Prince Jin.
Stop making sarcastic remarks here.
My woman, whether in body or heart, must belong to me. One day, I will make you submit.
Tyrant, you go back on your word.
Officially, I can give the position to Prince Jin. Whether he can hold it depends on his own ability. Clean the windows. Clean the windows, Suhai.
Your Majesty.
Don't just stand there in a daze, jump up and clean the windows. Low-cut black stockings and a slim waist are all men's bone-scraping knives.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Lecture never deceives me, Your Majesty. Is this the right way to jump?
Yes.
Suhai, the 2 of us should become sworn brothers today.
Minister Smith Lee greets Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
Prime Minister, please, come. Chancellor, look, this is the heavenly demon dance I invented. It makes men unable to resist.
Your Majesty, indulging in decadent music all day, and being close to women, will delay state affairs.
Chancellor, isn't it you who handles the state affairs? I don't need to intervene. Right now, the most important thing for me is to have a child.
Your Majesty is absolutely right. If Your Majesty has an heir, he can be established as the Crown Prince to stabilize the nation.
The Emperor said the same.
Your Majesty, as for the positions of Minister of Rights, Minister of Personnel, and the Left Censor-in-Chief, I have drafted a list. Please make a decision, Your Majesty.
Oh dear. Prime Minister, you are late. I have already agreed with the Dowager. The Dowager said that Prince Jing wants to arrange some personnel.
What? How can the harem interfere in state affairs? How can the Dowager meddle in the arrangement of court officials?
The Dowager said as long as I fulfill this matter, she will allow me to be close to her.
Your Majesty, you are being foolish. Prince Jin is a vassal prince. Allowing him to stay in the capital is already a special favor from your Majesty. Yet Prince Jin dares to meddle in court affairs. His ambitions are clearly evident.
Is that so? Oh, what should we do about this? I have already promised the Queen Mother. If I go back on my word, I won't be able to face the Queen Mother, you know what I mean.
I will immediately mobilize the court officials to impeach Prince Jin.
Good. Everything will be up to you, Prime Minister.
I take my leave.
Oh, Prime Minister, don't leave in such a hurry. Oh, your dance is not interesting. Let me teach you one. Tonight is so beautiful. Has he left?
His Majesty has left.
Your Majesty's strategy of driving the tiger to swallow the wolf is truly brilliant.
The art of managing people lies in balance. Currently, Smith Lee's family is too dominant. It is not a sustainable path. Now with Smith Lee as the King of Jin and in charge of the Privy Council, it is a tripartite balance of power. The situation of uniting the weak against the strong has been established. I am just waiting to watch the show.
My father has always been self-sufficient and never allies with others.
Then I will need you, my beloved, to help me.
I won't help you, you foolish emperor.
Then I will have to take matters into my own hands.
Your Majesty, the King of Jin has wild ambitions. He has coveted the throne for a long time. Are you just going to let it be?
The usurpation by the King of Jin is just a minor ailment. Smith Lee's treason is the real threat.
Are you so confident about dealing with Prince Jin?
I don't need to deal with him. Smith Lee will take action himself to help me deal with Prince Jin. I just need to wait.
So what are you planning? Deal with Smith Lee?
Prime Minister. That foolish emperor gave all 3 positions to Prince Jin. Is he out of his mind?
HMPH, for the sake of a woman. He actually nurtures a threat. Truly useless.
What kind of woman has such great charm?
Mi Zhen.
What, but she was the late emperor's woman. The foolish emperor is so brazen.
Isn't that a good thing? We can use this excuse to depose him.
The Prime Minister is absolutely right. What about Prince Jin? What should we do?
Gather evidence of Prince Jin's crimes. And find someone to impeach him.
Yes.
Your Majesty, the Plum Blossom Guard has reported that during the disaster relief, Minister of Revenue Smith Lee embezzled 500 picules of wheat bran and rice husks, and sold them to the Northern Yuan for 200 taels of silver.
This Smith Lee, if he went into business, he would definitely become a tycoon.
Should we arrest this Smith Lee?
Present Smith Lee's evidence of crime to Prince Jin.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty. I impeach Minister of Revenue Smith Lee for embezzling disaster relief funds, causing the people of Jiangnan to starve everywhere. Corpses are scattered all over. Many disaster victims have raised flags in rebellion.
Prime Minister, what do you think should be done?
Your Majesty, there is absolutely no such thing. If it is about grain, perhaps someone has embezzled. But this time, the disaster relief is wheat bran and rice husk. I wonder if they embezzled it.
Who did they sell it to? The Chancellor's words are very true, Your Majesty.
I have solid evidence. The Minister of Revenue embezzled wheat bran, sold it to a private horse ranch, gained 200,000 taels of illicit silver. Your Majesty, please take a look.
This Li Feng is so bold. He actually dared to embezzle disaster relief grain, sold it to the Northern Yuan.
Your Majesty, the memorial from Prince Jin. Words alone are not enough. It cannot be taken into account.
What the Chancellor said also makes sense. In that case, Su Hai, you pass on the decree. First, imprison Li Feng in the dungeon.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Prime Minister Li, you will conduct a joint trial of Li Feng with the 3 judicial offices.
Your Majesty is wise.
Your Majesty, absolutely not.
Ankai, what do you mean by this?
Li Feng is the cousin of Minister Li. If he presides over the trial, I'm afraid it will be hard to convince the public.
Prime Minister Li, in that case, you should indeed avoid suspicion. Well, how about this? Let me conduct the trial. I haven't tried a case myself yet. It should be quite fun, right?
Your Majesty, absolutely not. Your Majesty is of noble status. How can you lower yourself to interrogate a criminal?
Prime Minister, there's no need to say more. In 3 days, I will personally interrogate Li Feng. Besides, I haven't been to the Ministry of Justice yet. There are many interesting punishments. I haven't seen it yet. Ha ha. Li Feng, I recently invented a few new gadgets. This one is called Pao Luo. Tie a person to a copper pillar and burn the copper pillar with charcoal. The person will be roasted. This one is called Pen. Strip a person naked and push them into a basin. Let thousands of insects bite them. It can be said, it's unbearable to watch.
Your Majesty, spare my life.
There's another way to die. Called Ling Kai. Cut the flesh off your body, piece by piece, a total of 3,600 cuts, but you won't die until every last drop of blood has drained from your body.
Your Majesty, have mercy.
How dare you, Li Feng? Embezzling disaster relief supplies. Confess your crimes now.
I confess.
I want to build a jade terrace. I need a lot of money. I heard these people are very wealthy. You know what I mean.
I understand, Your Majesty.
Li Feng, I trust you to handle this. If you help me, I won't forget you.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Great joy indeed.
What brings such joy?
The palace guards have been dispatched. Nearly 30 officials have been arrested. Most of them are Smith Lee's confidants. Nearly 30 million taels of silver have been confiscated.
Who would have thought this Ethan Chin actually understands interrogation techniques?
How could a foolish ruler understand interrogation techniques? He probably just invented some torture devices, like the cruel punishment of slow slicing. His methods are extremely brutal. It's only through these means that he got Li Feng's confession.
Good. This Ethan Chin is not only incompetent, but also cruel and inhumane. When the time comes, I can rightfully replace them. Ha 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 ha.
Those officials who were caught, where are they being held now?
In the Ministry of Justice's prison.
Find someone to inform them, to keep their mouths shut.
The punishment invented by that foolish emperor, I'm afraid not many can endure it.
They have to endure it even if they can't. Let them choose whether one dies, or the whole family.
Yes, I understand. Reporting to the Prime Minister, the Emperor has decreed to use the confiscated wealth to build a jade terrace.
HMPH, Foolish Emperor. What investigation into corruption? Clearly, it's an excuse to amass wealth. Building a jade terrace for his own pleasure.
Prime Minister. This is great. When the time comes to depose the foolish Emperor, we'll have one more reason.
Foolish ruler, how dare you use embezzled silver to build the jade terrace for your own pleasure?
My dear concubine, can you please stop scaring me with a sword all the time?
If you don't give me a satisfactory explanation today, I will never let you go.
Sister, His Majesty is trying to make the people prosperous.
Make the people prosperous. He's exploiting the people's resources.
Even if he's exploiting the people's resources, can you return it to them?
But it shouldn't be used to build the jade terrace for your own pleasure.
Sister, you misunderstood. His Majesty is building the Yarrow Terrace. It's a way to provide relief through work. The people get paid for their labor. With money, they can have enough to eat and wear. This is called taking from the people and using it for the people.
Would he really be so kind-hearted?
Then should I take back the command?
Don't. You finally did a good deed.
Am I really so unworthy in your eyes?
Unworthy, very unworthy. So why are you suddenly so benevolent?
His Majesty is using infrastructure investment to stimulate the economy.
What does it mean to stimulate the economy with infrastructure?
The court builds the Yarrow Terrace, which requires manpower and materials. Material producers get business, and they will hire people. When the common people earn money, they will spend it. This way, more businesses will emerge in the market. Our court will collect commercial taxes and reinvest in Yarrow Tai. This way, the economy forms a virtuous cycle.
I see. I didn't expect this foolish emperor to know quite a lot.
I just know a little bit. Actually, I know more about the Tsu Nu Jing and Dong Xianzi.
What are the Su Nu Jing and Dong Xianzi?
Come to my room tonight, and I will teach you privately. These breasts are really long. No, that's not right. Is this something you should be looking at? These legs are really big.
Your Majesty. Does it look good? What's so good about it?
Look at these legs, just like Hitami Fujiwara's. Look at these breasts, like Soburo Aoi's. Empress, why are you here?
Sister, this pervert is peeking at you bathing.
My beloved concubine, spare me, please.
Give me a reason first.
At that moment, the sword was only 0.01 centimeters from my throat. But 1 second later, the owner of that sword completely forgave me, because I decided to tell a lie. My beloved, do you know in the world, do you know what the greatest distance is? It's not the distance between life and death. But you are right in front of me. Yet you don't know that I love you.
You guys continue your lovey-dovey talks. I won't disturb you here.
Hey sister, don't leave yet.
My dear, don't leave.
You pervert, how dare you peep at me taking a bath?
Well, we are already husband and wife. Sooner or later, we'll see each other honestly. What's wrong with taking a peek? Didn't you say, my dear, you wanted to see the Dongzuanzi, Su En Yu Jing? I brought it for you.
Why did you bring such a lewd book, to fool me?
Why is this a lewd book? This is a medical book.
A medical book? How can a medical book have such indecent illustrations?
The relationship between husband and wife is the beginning of human ethics. It not only brings the joy of the boudoir, but also continues the lineage. How can this be an indecent book? My dear, look. This picture is called Dragon Flip. Cures the illness instantly. This picture is called Cicada Attachment. Using it removes the 7 injuries. My dear. Why don't we? Give it a try.
No. What are you doing?
The Emperor said, when a woman says no, she means yes.
Let go of me, you foolish king.
Your skin is so smooth and tender.
It hurts, be gentle.
My dear. I'm here.
You finally got what you wanted, you tyrant.
Shouldn't I be the one saying that? Who was it last night, one thing after another, making my back sore?
You rogue, you're just lusting after my body.
My dear, you are so beautiful beyond words. If I didn't desire your body, I wouldn't be a man.
You need to make it up to me.
Sure, whatever compensation you want, it's up to you.
Let me manage the funds for building the Jade Terrace.
Do you know how to manage accounts?
If not, I can learn.
Sure, I happen to know a double-entry bookkeeping method that I can teach you.
You even know how to manage accounts?
I am the son of heaven. What could I possibly not know?
Humph.
Just remember one thing. The core of this double-entry bookkeeping is every debit must have a credit. Debits and credits must be equal.
Didn't expect you, a foolish ruler, to actually have some real skills.
I have more than just real skills. I have a lot of real skills. In this world, talent is like a stone. I alone possess 9/10 of it. The mediocre people share the remaining 10th.
I don't think we can continue this conversation. You're getting all puffed up.
I'm just telling the truth.
Then why do you act like a foolish ruler?
The civil and military officials think the Yu dynasty is filled with righteousness. The national strength is thriving, but the Yu dynasty's chronic issues have accumulated for a long time. The kingdom has long been in turmoil. I am not incompetent. How can I oppose the upright gentleman in the court? Confront.
Your Majesty. Your Majesty, Prince Jin, accompanied by Shandong, seeks an audience with the Guanlong noble clans.
Announce.
Announce Shandong, and the Guanlong noble clans seek an audience. Greetings, Your Majesty.
What brings you two here?
I represent the citizens of Shandong, and the aristocrats of Guanlong. We request Your Majesty to abolish the imperial examination system, and reinstate the recommendation system.
Abolish the examination system? This examination system was established by the late emperor. Are you two trying to accuse me of being unfilial?
The royal family and the aristocrats have ruled the world together. This has been the rule since ancient times. The late emperor broke the rule. Your Majesty should set things right.
What rule? I have never heard of it.
Have you heard of it? 1,000-year family, 100-year dynasty.
I've heard a bit.
Your Majesty, do you know why the noble families have stood for thousands of years? Because they hold the books. With books, the children of noble families can study and learn the principles of governing a nation. Only then can they be good aides.
Are you two trying to use the books held by the noble families to threaten me?
Yes.
They're just mere books. I can have as many as I want.
Che, what arrogance. Such big talk. Even paper-making is controlled by the noble family's soldiers. Do you think you can have as much as you want?
Oh my. Let me abolish the 100 schools of thought. That's not impossible. But I have one condition.
What does your majesty require?
I heard that the flowers in Yangju are beautiful, and there are many beauties. I want to build a canal to Yangju, but I'm short of 30 million taels of silver.
Why don't you just rob for 30 million taels?
If you don't give it to me, I will hold the imperial examination for 3 consecutive years. Each year, I will recruit 3,000 people from the humble and common families.
You foolish emperor, how dare you?
Why wouldn't I dare? Come, my dear, help me draft the decree.
Your majesty, everything can be discussed.
It's too late to discuss now. 40 million taels of silver, not a penny less.
Your majesty, if you abolish the imperial examination system, this money, our noble families will provide.
All right. As long as the money is in place, I'll do anything. Isn't it just abolishing the imperial exams? I will issue the decree right now.
Good. It's a deal. Words alone are not enough. Let's put it in writing.
Your Majesty is being foolish. Abolishing the imperial examination system for selecting officials, the aristocratic clans will continue to control the government. They will stand above the imperial authority.
Rest assured, Empress. Although the imperial examination system can break the hereditary privilege of the aristocratic clans and encourage the common people to study, the imperial examination only tests the 4 books and 5 classics. It is of no benefit to governing the country.
What does your Majesty mean by this?
The 4 books and 5 classics are fine for personal cultivation and family management, but truly governing the country and bringing peace to the world still relies on science and engineering.
Science and engineering? What is science and engineering?
Science and engineering encompass a wide range of fields, including mathematics, astronomy, medicine, mechanical engineering, and so on.
Although I don't understand the science and engineering you mentioned, Your Majesty, I can guess that you are definitely setting a trap for the aristocratic soldiers again, preparing to trick them.
Set a trap? What kind of trap?
Hey, I am the Emperor. How can I casually set traps for others? Since I promised the aristocratic soldiers, I must fulfill it. That's not setting a trap.
But Your Majesty wants to start anew. I'm afraid it's very difficult.
What do you mean by that, Empress?
The art of papermaking is controlled by the aristocratic clans. Your Majesty wants to promote science and engineering.
Isn't it just papermaking? I can do it with a flick of my hand.
You really love to brag. Papermaking is a secret technique of the aristocratic clans.
Papermaking uses tree bark, bamboo, rags, and hemp as raw materials. After processes like rubbing, drying, and pounding, it's simple.
Even if Your Majesty can make paper, what about books? It takes at least 2 to 3 months to copy a book.
I have a technique called printing. In one day, I can print thousands of books.
How can you print thousands of copies in one day? That's the magic of printing.
Not much difference.
What kind of brain do you have? How did you come up with that?
I've always said I'm exceptionally talented, extremely knowledgeable.
You get all puffed up with praise.
Too high. For a moment, you follow the procedures on this paper. Go find the craftsman and make a batch of paper.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I never expected Ethan Chin to be so foolish, just for 40 million taels of silver.
He even wants to abolish the imperial examination system. My lord, this is actually a good thing. As long as the foolish emperor dare to abolish the imperial examination system, all the scholars in the world would unite and attack. By then, Your Highness, guarding and calling will lead to great success.
Truly, heaven is helping me.
Heaven is helping me, Your Highness. You have both won over the aristocratic families and tricked the foolish emperor. It's truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I can hardly wait any longer now.
I didn't expect this foolish emperor to have some integrity. He really issued a decree to abolish it after taking the money. The imperial examination system. 40 million taels for such a piece of paper. What a huge loss. Sigh. Brother Wang, you need to look further ahead. What do you mean by that? As long as the government is controlled by our aristocratic families, within 10 years, we can recover this 40 million taels. With interest? That's true. Haha. Master, something terrible has happened. The Emperor has issued a decree, summoning scholars from all over the country to take the civil service exam. What? The foolish emperor dares to trick us. Foolish emperor, you have broken your promise. Return our money.
Speak with reason and evidence. When did I ever break my promise?
You took our money. Why are you still holding the imperial exam?
Who held the imperial examination? Tell me and I'll punish them.
Isn't this civil service exam the same as the imperial examination?
What does the imperial examination test? The 4 books and 5 classics, right? What does my civil service exam test? Skills and crafts, aren't these two completely unrelated?
Foolish emperor, you're just being unreasonable.
I'm just making excuses. We had a clear written agreement at the time. In duplicate, it was clearly written. You were supposed to provide the funds to abolish the imperial examination. Now I've issued an edict to abolish the imperial examination.
How is that going back on my word? Foolish ruler, are you really going to confront the aristocratic families to the end? Your Majesty, are you really going to go head to head with the noble families? Aren't you afraid that tomorrow morning, all the civil and military officials
will refuse to attend the court? Well, if they don't come to court, that's perfect. I was just thinking of appointing some newcomers. It's hard to find a 3-legged toad, but there are plenty of 2-legged people everywhere.
The operation of the court can't be managed by a bunch of newcomers.
Isn't it a coincidence? My Empress recently wrote a practical handbook for court affairs. By following this book, even newcomers won't make mistakes. Ah, Empress, you are truly remarkable, virtuous and kind, to write such a good book, and my beloved concubine, if I have both of you by my side, I truly feel so warm in my heart.
Why is this paper so white?
Oh, this is the paper I use for making books, and also for toilet paper. Enjoy it later.
Why is the writing exactly the same?
This is my newly invented printing technique. It can print 10,000 copies a day.
Your Majesty holds a powerful tool. We commoners willingly submit.
That's the way it should be. A gentleman is one who seeks good fortune and avoids harm. It's not too late for you two to realize your mistakes.
I hope your Majesty will grant the noble families a way out.
Here, I have 2 technologies, steel making and concrete, that I can pass on to you. Earning tens of millions of taels a year is no problem. I want the aristocratic families to permanently withdraw from the court.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Since your Majesty already has the weapon to put the aristocratic clans to death, why still compromise with them?
This is exactly what they say. Governing a great nation is like cooking a small fish. Too much stirring will ruin it. Now the Yu dynasty is in turmoil. If I force the aristocratic clans to rebel, it would be more of a loss than a gain.
But even so, we can't teach them the technology.
There was a great man who once said that politics is about making more friends and fewer enemies. I give them the technology, they become my friends.
Then congratulations, Your Majesty, on having one less enemy.
Letting them earn so much money, they're getting off easy.
When will this money-making ever end? Whoever earns it, it's still earned. They've made money. As long as they honestly pay taxes to me, that's fine. Otherwise,
Your Majesty seems to be setting traps for people again.
if they're honest, I'll be well behaved. Foolish ruler. Foolish ruler. I never expected this foolish ruler to secretly recruit civil servants and even stab me in the back. Even the noble families have turned against me. Without the support of the noble families,
Your Highness has indeed lost an arm. You've lost a major support without them.
without the support of the aristocratic families, I still have insiders in the palace and 3,000 death guards with the support of the Wugwa and Beiyuan.
Wogwo and Beiyuan have ambitious intentions. They have coveted Yanyun 16 states for a long time.
As long as I can ascend to the throne. Losing Yanyun 16 states. So what?
So, my lord, what should we do now?
Now the enemy is strong and we are weak. Smith-Lee is in charge of the capital's forbidden army. We can only wait for the right moment. Find Smith-Lee's weakness. And impeach him. Suhai, it's said that the Emperor's harem has 3,000 beauties, yet I only have the Empress and the Princess. It's a bit dull.
If your Majesty wants some fun, you can visit a brothel.
Oh, how could I forget about the brothel? Listening to music, arranging flowers, and playing with jade. It's every man's dream. That's a good idea. What's the best brothel in the capital called?
Your Majesty, the best brothel in the capital is called the Hua House.
Let me change my clothes.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Oh, are you two gentlemen here for some fun? Today at our Baihua house, we have a special program.
Ah, what special program?
Today is our 100 Flowers Towers, Joyce's combing ceremony day. Combing ceremony?
Your Majesty, combing ceremony means the first night. I've heard that this Joyce is the #1 beauty in the capital. She has the looks to make fish sink and birds fall. And the appearance to outshine the moon and shame the flowers.
Really? Then I must go and have a look.
Don't you all fight with me. Today, I, the young master, must win Joyce's first night. Who do you think you are? To be worthy of Joyce. My father is Minister Zhang Han of the Ministry of Personnel, the right-hand man of Chancellor Li. Do you think I'm worthy or not? Oh, it's young Master Zhang. I didn't recognize you.
HMPH. This auction isn't about family background. It's all about money. Don't you take me seriously? I don't even take you seriously.
Since you dare to speak so arrogantly in front of me, the young master, do you believe I can't have someone deal with you?
Come on, kill me. Someone.
Drag him out and beat him to death. MPH.
Hold on, today is a big celebration for me. I hope you two gentlemen can give Joyce some face.
For the sake of Miss Joyce, I'll spare your worthless life.
Oh dear, if it weren't for Miss Joyce, you would have died 10 times over by now.
You two gentlemen, if you want to be my honored guests, it's not easy, you know. You need not only wealth, but also talent.
Aha, I am the greatest scholar in the capital city. It must be me who becomes Joyce's special guest.
Wow, you must have practiced holding your breath well. You are such a braggart.
You.
Gentlemen, please calm down. Our courtesan auction is starting. The starting bid is 5,000 taels. The top 3 will enter the literary competition round.
5,000 taels. That's so expensive. Even if it costs me everything I have, I must have the chance to meet Joyce. I'll bid 10,000 taels. I'll bid 20,000 taels. A bunch of poor guys trying to compete with me in wealth.
I bid 30,000 taels.
30,001 tael.
You only added 1 tael. 40,000 taels.
40,001 tael.
Are you deliberately trying to provoke me?
When serving as a buddier, I have to learn to be thrifty.
50,000 taels. 50,001 tael. I bid 100,000 taels.
Wow, the Minister of Personnel's family is so wealthy.
Are you going to raise the bid?
I'm not raising it anymore. Being in the top 3 is enough.
You poor thing.
Well, we'll see about that. Let's see which family Joyce ends up with.
Alright, the top 3 have been decided. Next, Miss Joyce will present the question.
I've had a passion for music since I was a child. Whoever can touch my heart with music will win my favor. Who should I choose to be today's honored guest?
Joyce, you are truly delightful. Did you know that I learned the guzing from the famous Master Boya? You deliberately made this topic. Want to share a romantic dream with me? How about it, kid? Can you play?
I know a little bit, I guess.
You dare to show off with just a little knowledge, compared to me.
Just so happens that I recently invented a new instrument called the guitar, Suhai.
You invent musical instruments. It must be something like a rustic tune, right?
Ah, yes.
This? What is this guitar? I've never seen it before.
Watch closely. Miss Ruya, this move of mine, Miss Joyce. How about it? This is a song for Miss Joyce. What do you think?
Such a tune should only exist in heaven. How often can one hear it on earth?
So, who can win this round?
The young master's guitar and young Zhang's guzheng each has its own merits, like spring orchids and autumn chrysanthemums. How about another round?
Well, we could, but I just don't know if young Master Zhong dares or not.
There's nothing I wouldn't dare.
Then Miss Joyce, please give us a challenge.
I have a timeless upper verse. Whoever can match it with a lower verse will be my guest of honor today.
All right.
Please, Miss Joyce.
1 village, 2 miles. 3 Confucian scholars together, unfamiliar with the 4 books, 5 classics, and 6 arts, teaching the 7 sages and 9 Confucian scholars, extremely bold.
10 streets and 9 alleys, hiding in 8 brothels, only obsessed with the 7 emotions, 6 desires, and 5 poisons, dragging 4, 3, 2 guests down to the lowest level.
Joyce, this couplet is full of filthy language. It's really vulgar.
Alright, then let me give you a more elegant one. 10 temples, 9 monks hiding 8 scrolls, strictly observing the 7 precepts, 6 paths, and 5 rules, yet without 4 monks, 2 disciples are at a loss.
Impossible, you must have conspired beforehand.
Oh, you're just being a sore loser.
If it wasn't prearranged, how could you come up with such a classic antithesis so quickly?
I'm just incredibly talented, and very knowledgeable, isn't that enough?
You must have cheated. How about this? I'll give you a line. If you can match it with a proper second line, I'll consider you the winner.
You want to compete with me, at least put something.
What do you want to wager?
100,000 taels, the loser gives the winner 100,000 taels.
Deal, a gentleman's word is his bond. Kid, don't get too cocky if you want to get money from me.
You'd better see if you have the skills for it. Stop dawdling, hurry up and ask the question. I am looking forward to spending a pleasant evening with Miss Joyce.
Listen up. My first line is lonely cold window. Guarding solitude in vain. How about that, kid? You can't come up with it, can you? If you can't, then pack up your things. Get lost.
That's it, I can do it with my eyes closed. Match it for you. A beautiful lady accompanies loneliness. Oh dear, do you want me to give you another one? The river and sea surge with waves.
You must have cheated.
You made up the question. How could I cheat? A bet is a bet. 100,000 taels of silver.
If you want to take my money, you should at least live to spend it.
How absurd. You're refusing to accept the outcome of the bet.
Someone, take him away for me.
Young master. A powerful dragon cannot crush a local snake. How about you take a step back, young master?
Where are the Plum Blossom guards? Who exactly are you? I'm someone you can't afford to mess with.
If you dare to harm a single hair on my head, my father won't let you get away with it.
Zhonghan has a son like you, such a troublesome son. He must regret it terribly. Take him away from me, go to Zhonghan's house and ask him for money, not a penny less than 100,000 taels.
Young master, your literary talent is exceptional. Joyce admires it.
This literary talent is just my weak point. My strong point, however, is in bed.
Since the young master has already won the competition, you are now my honored guest. Please, young master.
Bright and beautiful, like the moon obscured by light clouds, graceful and elegant, like snow swirling in the wind. Miss Joyce. A peerless beauty on earth, truly lived up to her reputation.
For the sake of a courtesan like me, you have offended the powerful minister of personnel. Aren't you afraid of their revenge?
It's only natural to repay debts. What am I afraid of?
Young Master Zheng won't let you go. You're doomed.
Then I'd rather die, under Miss Joyce's peony skirt. As they say, to die under the peony flower, is to be a romantic ghost. The women in the brothel are indeed impressive. She really know a lot of tricks. They made my back ache, and my legs weak.
You are quite impressive yourself, sir. You made it so I can't even get up.
Joyce, how about we go for another round? How about 300 rounds?
Please have mercy on me, sir.
Joyce, I'll buy your freedom. Would you like that?
Do you men really like persuading prostitutes to leave the trade?
What do you mean by that?
What woman in this world wants to end up in a brothel? Who doesn't want to be a normal woman?
Then I'll buy your freedom. Are you willing?
To redeem me, it'll cost 1,000,000 taels. Can you afford it?
1,000,000 taels is so expensive.
I knew you wouldn't be willing. A man's words are just lies.
How could I not be willing? But who set this price?
The owner of the Baihua building.
And who is the owner of the Baihua building?
Prince Jean.
Him?
Are you scared?
He's a prince without power or influence. Why would I be scared of him?
Anyone can brag.
Joyce, please endure it for a few more days, at the Baihua building. I'll go deal with Prince Jin first, then I'll come back for you.
You're just a scholar. How could you possibly compete against His Highness Prince Jean?
Here comes the flying dagger.
Your Majesty.
Regarding Prince Jin's matter, how is the investigation going?
Reporting to Your Majesty. The Plum Blossom secret guards have gathered all the evidence of Prince Jin's crimes.
Good, what about Zhonghan?
Zhang Han has agreed, as long as your majesty is willing to release his son. He is willing to serve you.
Go and hand over the evidence of Prince Jin's crimes to Zhonghan.
Yes.
Why, do you want to give the evidence of Prince Jin's crimes to Zhonghan?
Zhonghan is Smith Li's man. Handing it over to Zhonghan is the same as handing it over to Smith Li.
For the sake of a courtesan. Your Majesty, do you really want to change?
The tripartite balance of power. What a joke. How could I possibly cripple myself? Just because of a woman?
Then why, Your Majesty, did you throw Prince Jin out?
Smith Li has caught Prince Jin's weakness. He will definitely impeach Prince Jin. Prince Jin will surely retaliate. When they fight like two tigers, we will watch from the sidelines.
So what is your majesty's plan?
I will use the dispute over etiquette to kill Minister of Rights Bruce Chen by the hands of the Warren. Remove Minister of Justice Nate Cai, left Censor-in-Chief Zhou Li, under the pretext of corruption in disaster relief, exile the Minister of Revenue, and over 30 of Smith Li's associates. This is to cutting off his branches and eaves. Next, I shall clip his wings.
So, your majesty, who are Smith Li's wings?
Minister of Personnel Zhonghan, Imperial Academy Superintendent Bruce Chen, Commander of the Imperial Guard Sima Shi.
Zhonghan holds the power to evaluate officials across the land, Bruce Chen controls the academic circles, and can guide public opinion. Sima Shi commands the deployment of 100,000 Imperial Guards. These three people, he can be considered Smith Li's right-hand man.
The Zhong family has had only one heir for 3 generations. As long as we can control Zhonghan's son, Zhonghan will be at our disposal.
Smith Li has already lost one of his trusted aides.
Your majesty, this is digging a deep pit to trap the tigers and leopards, laying down a golden bait to catch the golden arowana.
Just wait. Sooner or later, I'll finish you off. Smith Li. Comfortable. The Queen's massage is exactly to my liking. My dear concubine. Hey, hey, hey.
Your Majesty.
Prime Minister. You, this early in the morning. This doesn't seem appropriate. I was just being affectionate with my 2 concubines.
Your Majesty. Reporting to Your Majesty, Prince Jin is forming factions for personal gain, and Pian to Piot Rebirth.
Our Prince Jin is rebelling. He's my uncle. That's impossible.
I have solid evidence.
Present it. Prince Jin is forming factions for personal gain. He is privately raising soldiers, and colluding with foreign countries. Can this be true?
Your Majesty, this matter is absolutely true.
What does the Prime Minister think is the best course of action?
Your Majesty, Prince Jin's treason is a crime against heaven and our ancestors. He deserves death without pardon.
This won't do. Why not? You see, Prince Jin is a confidant of the Empress Dowager. If I were to execute Prince Jin, so the concubine ignores me now.
Your Majesty, how can you, for the sake of a woman, disregard the safety of the nation and the empire, and indulge those who plot rebellion?
I love the empire, but I love beauty even more.
Then, Your Majesty, how do you plan to deal with Prince Jin?
I've heard that Prince Jin is very wealthy, isn't he?
Prince Jin's wealth rivals that of the nation. Everyone knows it.
How about this? We confiscate his family's assets. Without money, how can he rebel?
Agreed.
And then with the confiscated money, we can build together a leopard house. Train the tigers, leopards, lions, and elephants. For my amusement.
Your Majesty is wise.
Escort the guests out, Suhai.
I take my leave.
Why is the consort so eager to summon me here? What is the important matter? The consort is indeed still so beautiful, beautiful beyond words. It makes my heart flutter.
Consort.
Is this another plea for Prince Jin?
Foolish ruler, His Highness Prince Jin has a noble character, loves the people like his own children, and is loyal to the court. How can you confiscate his property?
A prince who oppresses and abuses the people, forces good people into wrongdoing, and amasses wealth while colluding with foreign countries, is seen by you as such a noble character.
You have wronged Prince Jin.
Do I need to wrong a weak person?
In short, you're just talking nonsense. Foolish ruler, what do you want to do?
You attempted to assassinate me twice. I should at least get some interest back. The dowager still smells so fragrant.
Bastard. Let me go.
You don't have to. Cry your eyes out. Consort, did I bully you?
Foolish emperor, even if you got my body, you won't get my heart.
I never wanted your heart. I was just craving your body.
You scoundrel.
Alright, 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 now we're even. I will choose a day to announce that the consort died of longing for the late emperor.
Are you serious?
Do I have to lie to you?
Prince, I am now a free woman, and can be with you forever.
Would that foolish king be so kind-hearted to let you out of the palace? Is it because he has grown tired of you?
Prince. How can you say such a thing?
Isn't it true?
Prince, I did all this for you.
And you have the nerve to say it was for me. Where were you when I was impeached? When the foolish king wanted to confiscate my family estate, why didn't you try to dissuade him? Now that the foolish king doesn't want you anymore, you remember me.
Didn't you say, my lord, that no matter how I change, you would never despise me?
Do you think I would want someone who, a fallen flower?
I understand. I'm useless now. So the prince just discarded me.
Stop right there. Did I say you could leave?
I wonder why your highness is looking for me. What else do you need?
Before you leave, I want to borrow something from you.
I have nothing left now. I don't know what else I can lend to your highness.
Of course, it's your life I want.
What are you trying to do?
The foolish king forced himself on the concubine. The concubine couldn't bear the humiliation. She jumped into the river to end her life. Attack the foolish king. What a perfect excuse.
Qinfen, you're so cruel.
Guards.
Qinfen, you will die a terrible death.
How dare you insult me? Fine. Take this vile woman. And throw she into the moat.
Ethan Qin.
You're awake.
Why did you save me?
After all, we were a couple for a night. I am not like some people who turn their backs and deny everything.
Are you here to laugh at me too?
In life, who hasn't encountered a few jerks? There's a kind of love called letting go.
Letting go. And then what?
You still have me.
You said Prince Jin wants to cooperate with me. Could there be any trickery involved?
Prince Jin's mansion has been raided. Prince Jin's downfall is imminent. Proposing cooperation at this time is merely a desperate attempt to survive.
Makes sense.
But Prince Jin is ambitious and ruthless. We must be cautious.
Have Prince Jin contact the Wako and Northern Yuan. Get him to station troops at the border. Create the appearance of an attack on the Yu dynasty.
Prime Minister. Won't this escalate things?
HMPH. Jack Cheng controls 300,000 capital guards. If we want to force the Emperor's hand, we need to get Jack Cheng out of the capital. Transfer him away.
Yes.
Your Majesty. A report has come from the frontier. The countries of Wugwa and Beiyuan have stationed troops at the northern border, intending to move south, to invade our Yu dynasty.
Wugwa lost the competition and didn't send their queen to serve as your concubine, yet they dare to deploy troops to attack our Yu dynasty. It's simply outrageous.
Your Majesty, the frontier is in urgent need. We should immediately dispatch the army.
Then quickly mobilize troops and provisions to the northern border.
Your Majesty. Currently, the local garrisons are busy suppressing bandits. The court only has available troops of the 300,000 garrison troops in the capital.
Then dispatch the garrison troops to the northern frontier.
Your Majesty, that is inadvisable. The duty of the garrison troops is to protect the safety of the capital.
If the northern Yuan and Wugwa attack, the Yu dynasty will be gone. What use is the capital then?
The army's campaign requires provisions. The national treasury is now empty. I'm afraid it will be difficult to sustain.
What does the Prime Minister think?
Your Majesty, I believe, we should immediately stop the construction of the Ascension Terrace and the Summer Resort, Yao Terrace, and Leopard House.
That's not possible. I have promised my two beloved concubines to take them there to have fun.
Now, with the nation facing difficulties, your majesty should not indulge in personal pleasures.
My mind is made up, there's no need for further discussion. Prime Minister, as for the army's expedition, how much food and supplies will be needed approximately?
For an army of 300,000. At least 500,000 laborers are needed, 5 million piculs of grain, and 20 million taels for military expenses.
It requires so much indeed. Prime Minister, are you trying to embezzle?
Oh, your majesty. I have no such intention, the Privy Councillor can testify.
We do indeed need this much money and grain.
My beloved ministers. Is there anyone who can solve the problem of supplies for me? You, as officials of the court, receiving the court salary, eating without contributing all day, unable to support the state from above, unable to protect the people from below, what use do I have for you?
Your majesty, the depletion of the treasury is not a matter of a day or two, but has accumulated over many years.
I don't want to hear explanations, I only care about the results. Our Yu dynasty's 200-year foundation is now as fragile as an egg. Yet each of you keeps making excuses and evading responsibility. This makes me very displeased.
We, your ministers, are at fault.
After all this talk, who can help me solve the issue of funds and provisions? Being granted titles and ranks is not just a dream.
Court is dismissed. Chief Minister, His Majesty requests your presence.
Your Majesty.
Please have a seat.
Please sit, Chief Minister.
Chief Minister, if our Yu dynasty were to face both Northern Yuan and Wogu at the same time, what are our chances of victory?
The victory rate is at most 30%.
Why is it so low?
Northern Yuan. Nomadic people. Their soldiers are naturally tough. Skilled in mounted archery. They come and go without a trace. Our Yu dynasty relies mainly on infantry, in a battle against cavalry. The outcome at most is a 50-50 chance. Plus 300,000 Wu troops, fighting on two fronts. A 30% chance of victory is already an overestimation.
Father, you've been through countless battles, can't you defeat the combined forces of the Northern Yuan and Wa?
Suhai, bring up the firearms.
Your Majesty. Isn't this the divine weapon that killed the Wa people in the court the other day? Oh my. This divine weapon is incredibly powerful. If we could equip the capital guards with it in large quantities, I am 50% confident we could defeat the combined forces of the Northern Yuan and Wa.
Lord Chamberlain, take another look at the grenades. This grenade is extremely powerful, it can shatter massive rocks. If we equip this grenade, what are our chances of winning?
At least 70%. Why is there still a 30% chance of failure? Capital guards. Always residing in bustling places. Soldiers indulge in pleasures, neglect training. Combat strength is weak. The national treasury is empty. Soldiers' pay has been overdue for a long time. Now it is, soldiers have no fighting spirit and commanders have no will to fight. Besides,
Chief Minister, feel free to speak.
Additionally, there are people in the court who collude with foreign countries. I'm most afraid of them. Interfering with provisions and reinforcements, restricting the Grand Army.
I see, it seems that to deal with external threats, we must first stabilize internally.
Your Majesty, the biggest problem right now is military supplies. The army doesn't move without provisions first. Hundreds of thousands of troops need food, drink, shelter, and supplies. It's not a small expense.
Just a few million bushels of grain and tens of millions of taels of silver are easy for me to obtain.
Your Majesty, are you planning to confiscate the homes of those corrupt officials again?
Your Majesty, you mustn't do that. With the enemy at our doorstep, if the court is unstable, the losses will outweigh the gains.
I would never do something that would cut off my own limbs.
Then what does your Majesty plan to do?
My dear consort, do you know about our Yu dynasty? Are you asking who the richest person is?
Naturally, it is that treacherous minister, Smith Lee.
My dear, you are mistaken. The richest person in the Yu dynasty is not Smith Lee, it's a merchant.
A merchant?
Yes, in their hands are billions of taels of silver.
Without merchants, the people cannot thrive. Without merchants, the nation cannot prosper. Merchants are not guilty. Your Majesty must not commit acts that harm my people.
Without agriculture, there is no stability. Without industry, there is no wealth. Without commerce, there is no livelihood. These basic principles of governance I still understand.
Don't snatch from the merchants. Then how does your Majesty plan to make money?
I may be a foolish emperor, but I'm not an idiot. Make money with the merchants. What's the best way to do that? Do business with them.
Young master's skills are truly impressive, to have actually overthrown Prince Jean, and taken over the 100 Flowers Tower.
That's nothing. As for me, I just took advantage of the conflict between the Chancellor and Prince Jin, and added a little provocation.
Dear bosses, welcome to the first auction of the Yu Dynasty. Next, we will auction the regional agency rights for 3 products. What exactly is agency rights, sir? Agency rights, as they say, is the right to sell a product in a certain area. Let me give you an example. For instance, you, boss, have bought the agency rights for the capital. In the capital, I only supply goods to you. I wonder what kind of goods there are. Our first product is this Hoshayan bright mirror. It was developed by the Plum Blossom Inner Guard, who sent 30 spies to steal the technology from the western regions. It's extremely detailed and incredibly bright. This is a treasure. Alright then, we will first auction the agency rights for the 26 counties around the capital. The starting price is 50,000 taels. 55,000 taels. I'll offer 65,000 taels. You don't have money. Get out of my way. I'll offer 100,000 taels.
It seems like Joyce really wants to do business.
I'm just a humble woman. Aren't you afraid, sir? If I step out to do business, will it cause gossip?
It's better to pee crops than I listen to them. Those who are famous throughout history must be open to the world. Why care about others' words?
So, can I really show myself in public?
I'm not a narrow-minded person. It seems you really want to do business. Miss Joyce offers 150,000 taels.
Miss Joyce offers 150, 0 taels. Any higher bids? This, 150, 0 taels once. 150, 0 taels twice. 150, 0 taels 3 times. Sold. This, the agency rights go to Miss Joyce.
Thank you, sir.
It's a small matter, not worth mentioning.
What's next? We will auction the agency rights for the 36 counties of Jinling. The starting price is still 50, 0 taels. Please place your bids, gentlemen. I'll bid 80, 0 taels. 90, 0 taels. I'll bid 100, 0 taels. I'll bid 150, 0 taels. I'll bid 180, 0 taels. Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Reporting to Your Majesty, the entire auction collected a total of 600, 0 taels, of which the exclusive agency rights accounted for 600, 0 taels. The remaining 600, 0 taels, is a loan.
Very good, Suhai, you did a great job this time.
Your Majesty's strategic planning, I just did my humble part.
Suhai. This time. You solved the food supply problem for the army. You deserve credit. I will reward you generously. I appoint you as the Marquis of Chengyang, and grant you the Imperial Edict. Share the fate of the nation.
Thank you for your great kindness, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, it's unprecedented for an eunuch to be ennobled. This will surely invite criticism.
Those who have contributed should be rewarded. Those who have contributed should be rewarded. I have said that whoever can help me solve the grain supply issue will be generously rewarded.
This foolish emperor is indeed fortunate to have Suhai, this eunuch, assisting him in easily resolving the army's grain supply issue.
Prime Minister, this is indeed a great thing.
How could this be a good thing?
With the army having provisions, the capital guards can set out. The capital will become the Chancellor's possession. Moreover, he ennobles eunuchs as marquises unheard of throughout history. Abolishing the foolish emperor is yet another reason.
Indeed.
Furthermore, the foolish emperor has committed numerous evils. Scholars in the capital have been complaining for a long time. Why don't we have the scholars in the capital petition at the palace gates? Right, Chancellor, if you wish to accomplish great things, you must first win the support of the people, and public opinion is mostly controlled by the scholar class. Scholars petitioning at the palace gates will stir public opinion, inform the people of the world about the actions of the foolish ruler. Let the common people know.
How many crimes of the foolish ruler are known now?
Reporting to the Prime Minister. I have gathered, the foolish emperor indulges in the harem, arbitrarily sets punishments, commits incest with his mother concubine, employs eunuchs, neglects state affairs and other 10 or so crimes.
Send Prince Jin out. And add another charge to the foolish emperor, that I harm the royal family.
Prime Minister. Prince Jin, but he is our ally.
Prince Jin has already fulfilled his mission. Moreover, as long as Prince Jin is alive, when will the throne ever be mine?
What the Prime Minister said is absolutely right. I will handle this immediately.
If there are any matters to report, please do so. If there are no matters, court is dismissed.
Your Majesty, I impeach Prince Jin for colluding with the Northern Yuan and the Wu state to prepare an inside and outside collaboration intending to overthrow our Yu dynasty.
Haven't I already confiscated the Jin King's household? How does he still dare to collude with the Northern Yuan and the Wu Kingdom?
It is precisely because Your Majesty ordered the confiscation of the Jin King's residence that Jin King harbors resentment and secretly raised troops with the Northern Yuan and the Wu Kingdom. It's hard to guard against traitors within the family.
Day and night, it's difficult to guard against them. That Prince Jin is so bold.
Your Majesty, the crimes of Prince Jin are unforgivable. Today he dares to collude with foreign countries. Tomorrow, he will dare to conspire to seize the throne. Your Majesty, I request to execute his entire clan, as a warning to others.
All of Prince Jin's clan, Prime Minister, are you trying to kill me too?
Your Majesty, I misspoke.
Suhai. At your service, deliver my decree. Prince Jin colluded with the Northern Yuan and the Wu Kingdom, sent to prison, executed after autumn. The rest are all exiled to Lingnan.
Yes, Your Majesty is wise.
Emire. I have already put Prince Jin into the imperial prison. He will be executed after autumn.
I have long had no ties with Prince Jin. His life or death has nothing to do with me.
That's good. Stay calm. Don't dwell on feelings. Don't fear the past. Don't fear the future.
I didn't expect you to have some literary talent.
There's a lot you don't know.
Let me ask you a question. Answer honestly. Have you been pretending to be a foolish ruler all along?
I'm just a foolish emperor. It's a role I play naturally.
A foolish emperor who can fool everyone, around in circles.
Do you have some misunderstanding about the term foolish emperor?
What do you mean?
A foolish emperor refers to a ruler who is unclear and corrupt, indulgent and immoral, not a stupid emperor.
Your Majesty. The head of the Imperial Academy is kneeling with the scholars in front of the palace. The Prime Minister asks you to discuss with him. The emperor lacks virtue. He harmed the people and corrupt the court, favor eunuchs, arbitrarily set up cruel punishments, recklessly kill members of the royal family, and now, in the court, the state is as precarious as a pile of eggs. The dynasty has nurtured scholars for 120 years. They died for righteousness and loyalty. It is today, the emperor has no virtue. The emperor has no virtue. There is no justice now.
My dear ministers, these students from the Imperial College have surrounded the gates of the royal city, petitioning earnestly. What should be done about this?
Your Majesty. The students are knocking outside the palace gates, criticizing the governance. Presenting their petitions and suggestions, they are loyal to the country, their intentions are commendable.
Prime Minister, I am asking you how to resolve this. Don't go in circles with me.
According to the regulations, when students knock outside the palace gates, Your Majesty must accept their petitions.
Is there no room for negotiation?
None. Either His Majesty agrees with them, or His Majesty severely punishes him.
Nonsense. They demand that I issue an apology decree. I should listen to them.
Your Majesty, now in our Yu dynasty, natural disasters are frequent, wars are breaking out everywhere, treacherous ministers are in power.
Prime Minister, what does this mean?
If His Majesty issues an apology decree, reflects on his own mistakes, and begs for forgiveness from the heavens, it wouldn't hurt.
Prime Minister, your words are incorrect. I am the Son of Heaven. How could I be wrong?
Your Majesty. The heavens have clouds. If the people have sinned, it falls upon me alone. If one person has sinned, it is not the fault of the multitude. If the common people are at fault, the emperor should issue a self-blame edict.
If the common people are at fault, that is their mistake. Let them admit their own mistakes. What does it have to do with me? I will not take the blame for this.
Your Majesty, in every dynasty, the emperors have issued self-blame edicts.
They are them, and I am me. I am the wise ruler of all times. How could I possibly be at fault?
Now the scholars are agitated. A slight misstep could lead to disaster.
I want to see what kind of disaster it can cause. Where is the commander of the Imperial Guards? I want to see what kind of disaster could happen, commander of the Imperial Guards.
I am here.
Immediately lead the Imperial Guards and arrest those causing trouble, all of them outside the palace gates.
Your Majesty, you must not.
Why not?
Listening to the people's voice is the way of a ruler. The scholars are kneeling at the gates to plead. Your Majesty should listen to their advice earnestly.
I am the son of heaven. I will do as I please. If there are those who advise me, I will kill them. Kill 500 people. What's the matter? Simashaw, why are you standing there? Go out and catch them.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Wait. The leader outside the palace gate. What's his name? Is it Chen Yong? Arrest him first. Execute him for me.
Your Majesty. Chen Yong is the principal of the Imperial Academy, a top scholar of the Yu dynasty. If you kill him, I'm afraid the scholars across the nation won't agree.
As the principal of the Imperial Academy, he leads others in speaking badly of us. It's better to execute him. Kill the chicken to scare the monkey.
I obey your command.
Suhai, send a few of the Plum Blossom secret guards to infiltrate among the palace scholars and the Imperial Guards, create some chaos, then kill a few more of the palace scholars for me.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, scholars are the foundation of the nation.
The foundation of the nation is its people, not the scholars.
But Your Majesty, this action might completely lose the scholars' support. I hope Your Majesty will reconsider.
Empress, you don't understand human nature, do you?
What does Your Majesty mean by this?
These scholars knocking on the palace gate, most of them don't really want to submit a petition. They're just a bunch of bandwagoners, trying to mingle with the crowd, ride the wave of popularity, gain attention. To establish an image of being upright and incorruptible, loyal and patriotic.
Your Majesty, although I don't quite understand what you mean. Why are they doing this?
Most of them want to make a name for themselves in the scholar community, to create a favorable momentum for themselves. Just a bunch of sophisticated self-interested individuals.
What is the deeper meaning behind Your Majesty's actions?
Killing Chen Yong. Smith Lee's wings have already been clipped by 2/3. Next is the commander of the Imperial Guards, Simashaw.
So, Your Majesty, are you planning to take action against Simashaw?
The Privy Councillor is about to go on an expedition. The capital's defense relies entirely on the Imperial Guards. I am a bit uneasy about it.
Your Majesty, why not just take down Simashaw directly? It would save a lot of trouble.
I do not engage in framing others for crimes they didn't commit. Moreover, there's no need for baseless accusations. If someone is guilty, they are guilty. If they are innocent, they are innocent. I am not a foolish ruler.
Yet you're still not a foolish ruler.
Fool. You can't even handle such a small matter. What's the use of the Lee family raising you?
Brother, I didn't expect it either. The scholars dared to attack the Imperial Guards. It happened suddenly. The Imperial Guards had no choice but to defend themselves.
How many scholars died? 28 people.
Prime Minister, this might not be a bad thing.
How so?
The foolish emperor once said in court, "He am the son of heaven, he shall indulge my desires. Anyone who sees it, I shall kill." If we spread this word around.
What do the scholars of the world think? Go ahead and arrange it. Make sure everyone in the world knows. This matter was instigated by a foolish emperor.
Yes.
My dear concubine.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
How many times have I told you? Men. Don't make a fuss or panic. What kind of conduct is that?
Your Majesty, there's a big problem.
Speak.
Your Majesty, after the Imperial Guards killed the scholar who knocked on the palace gate, scholars from all over are flocking here, gathering at the palace gate. The number has reached over 10,000.
This Smith Lee is truly eloquent.
Your Majesty. Tens of thousands of scholars are knocking on the palace gates. Something big must have happened. How can you still have the mood to smile?
My dear consort, crying is just a day, smiling is also a day, so why not happily live each day to the fullest?
Your Majesty must have planned this all along. Seeing Your Majesty's expression, it seems like you have everything under control.
Only the Empress truly understands me.
So, Your Majesty, how do you plan to deal with the scholars?
I plan to engage in a battle of words with them. Sima Shi, you useless fool, I ordered you to kill Chen Yong. Why did you kill so many scholars?
Your Majesty, the situation was sudden, the Imperial Guards acted in self-defense.
Prime Minister, now they are furious. What should I do?
Your Majesty, at this point, the murderer should be punished.
Right, punish the murderer first. Guards, take Sima Shi away.
Your Majesty, Sima Shi is not the murderer.
I know. But the ones who killed are the Imperial Guards. Sima Shi is the commander of the Imperial Guards. Then Sima Shi must be held responsible.
However,
Prime Minister, don't worry. I know Sima Shi is your brother-in-law. I'll just detain him for 2 months, just for show. Once the scholar's anger has subsided, I will release him myself. Let him take charge of the Imperial Guards again, and promote him to a Marquis. If the Prime Minister doesn't believe me, I can now draft the decree. Sima, my dear Minister, bear with this for 2 months.
Though I am not talented, I am willing to help Your Majesty with your burdens.
Now, the murderer has been punished. What should we do?
Your Majesty, I believe we should appease the scholars.
How to appease them? Give them money. Reward them with food.
Give them beautiful women.
Your Majesty, this matter arose because of the scholars' complaints. Your Majesty must meet with the scholars. Listen to the scholars' concerns.
Then I will meet with them. However
what?
However, I really don't know how to deal with the scholars. Why don't the Prime Minister and Minister Zhong stay in the palace for a few days first? Teach me how to deal with the heir.
I obey your command.
Su Hai, pass down the order. From the scholars petitioning at the gates, select 5 as representatives to enter the palace and petition in 3 days.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty kept Smith Lee in the palace. What is the intention behind this move?
By keeping Smith Lee in the palace, he can't contact the outside world. I can then take action.
What does Your Majesty plan to do?
The order passed by Su Hai, Bernard Lee, Minister of War, temporarily assume the position of Commander of the Imperial Guards. Additionally, take my royal decree to the Imperial Guards camp outside the city. Order all levels of generals to be swapped. Anyone who disobeys the order will be executed.
Swapping generals? What's the use of that?
I know about this. In the army, every general has their own trusted aides. With trusted aides, they can command the army as if it were their own arm. Once the generals are swapped, they can't command the army anymore.
I see.
Oh, my dear consort, how did I just realize that my dear consort is so remarkably intelligent?
My father is the Minister of War. I know a thing or two about these military tactics.
Your Majesty, now that you've clipped the wings of the treacherous minister, what are your plans next?
Nowadays, trimming its branches and clipping its wings is already done. Next, we must target its core and bind its hands and feet.
Since that good minister is already a lone man, you might as well kill him directly, to save all the trouble.
Smith Lee has occupied the minister position for many years. His followers and former subordinates are everywhere in the court. If I were to arbitrarily kill Smith Lee, the court would be thrown into turmoil. Those students and officials who cling to him would be filled with fear.
So what will Your Majesty do next? How do you plan to appease the officials?
I am waiting for an opportunity. You all barged into the palace and knocked on the gate. What are your intentions?
We barged into the palace and knocked on the gate. It's all because His Majesty is foolish and incompetent, that the court is filled with useless officials, and beasts feast within the palace walls.
I am incompetent and incompetent. Where do you start with this statement?
Your Majesty is indeed a foolish ruler. Everyone in the world knows it. How dare you speak such nonsense, and slander the Emperor?
Su Hai, step back. As the saying goes, a gong won't sound unless it's struck. The truth isn't clear unless it's argued. You say I'm foolish. Do you have any evidence?
There are rumors among the people that His Majesty is ignorant and unlearned. If not foolish, then what?
Are rumors among the people necessarily true? Since childhood, I have read extensively, possessing vast knowledge, well versed in ancient and modern times.
Who doesn't know how to brag?
Bragging. Have you ever heard of a poem I composed? Prelude to Water Melody, When Will the Moon Be Bright?
That's a poem you copied from the great poetess Udon Pore.
How about this? I will give you 5 people, for chances each. You come up with questions in Japanese verse for me to answer. If I cannot answer, I will admit that I am a foolish ruler.
Sister, your majesty is so bold.
Being bold requires strength.
Is what your majesty said true?
I am the son of heaven. My words are as good as gold. HMPH, I am well versed in Tang and Song poetry. This won't stump me. Beloved consort, taste the wine for me. Bring the paper. Bring the ink. Bring the brush. Empress, write for me. Wind, it shakes down leaves of autumn, and opens flowers in February. It stirs waves 1,000 feet high across the river, and makes bamboo lean in countless rows, flowers. Spring slumber, unaware of dawn, everywhere, the sound of birds singing, last night, the sound of wind and rain, how many flowers have fallen? In thousands of mountains, birds have flown away, on myriad paths, no human trace remains, a lone boat, an old man in a straw cloak and hat, alone fishing in the snowy river. From afar, the mountains have color, up close, the water is silent, a light rain moistens the streets like soft cream, the grass looks green from afar, but disappears up close, on both riverbanks, the monkeys' cries never cease, the light boat has already passed thousands of mountains. 5 princes, I am indeed uneducated and ignorant.
Absolutely impossible. These 20 poems, each one can be passed down through the ages. Surely you copied them from someone else.
Copied from someone else? You are considered well-read. Can you tell me, who did I copy from?
Even if your majesty's talent is unparalleled, surpassing ancient and modern, it cannot hide the fact that you have talent but no virtue.
Talented, but immoral. What are you talking about?
Your majesty favors the harem.
It's human nature to enjoy food and beauty. What crime is there in me favoring the harem? Should I be left to grow old alone? Should the Yu dynasty end without an heir?
But you can't let the harem interfere in politics.
The affairs of the court are always managed by the chancellor. I rarely intervene. Where does this talk of the harem interfering in politics come from?
Even if the harem doesn't interfere in politics, your majesty invented cruel punishments like cannon roasting and egg basin flaying. That's the act of a tyrant.
Have you ever seen anyone in the Yu dynasty use these cruel punishments? If you have, tell me and I'll punish them.
The former Minister of Revenue, Li Feng, was punished by your majesty, Li Feng was exiled to the frontier. Thousands of people have seen him. Then have you ever seen any signs of torture on his body? It seems not. Even if there are none of these, you forced the consort, leading the consort to drown herself in the river. That must be true, right?
Nonsense. When have I ever done such a beastly thing?
This is known to everyone in the world. You can't deny it.
In your eyes, is the consort already dead?
Naturally, she is dead.
Suhai, summon the dowager.
Summon the consort.
Allow me to introduce. This person is the consort you all speak of.
Impossible. You must have found someone to deceive us.
You're talking nonsense. Ask all the officials here. Is she the imperial concubine?
Why did you hit someone? Why did you hit someone?
It's already light that I hit you. You slandered the dowager's reputation. Pass down the decree. If anyone slanders the dowager's reputation again, they will be flogged 50 times and exiled to Lingnan. The informant will be rewarded with 100 taels of silver.
The Prince of Jin is the late Emperor's brother. Your Majesty imprisoned him. Isn't that the act of a foolish ruler?
Marquis Suhai, come and explain to this young lord.
The Prince of Jin colluded with the Northern Yuan and the Wokuo. He intended to overthrow the Yu dynasty. Impossible. The Prince of Jin is a virtuous prince. The Prince of Jin intended to rebel. The evidence is conclusive. There's no doubt about it. Even if Prince Jin deserves punishment, it's true that eunuchs were heavily used, right?
When have I ever heavily used eunuchs?
You granted a eunuch the title of Marquis. Isn't that heavily using eunuchs?
Suhai is loyal and patriotic. He raised over 30 million taels for the army. He has contributed to the court. Shouldn't I reward him?
Those merchants were forced by traders.
Have you investigated?
If not forced by power, who would willingly give money to a eunuch?
Let me ask you, am I not the most powerful person in the world?
Naturally.
Then let me tell you, I bid for the Haotian Mingguang mirrors, agency rights in the capital. It cost 150,000 taels.
You all colluded. It doesn't count.
Then let me tell you, all the officials present here are all competing to seize the agency rights.
Impossible. Why would they do that?
Because this business can make money.
All the officials in the court are obsessed with money. You use them to govern the country, and you say you're not a foolish ruler.
Everyone in life has desires. Some crave fame, some crave power, some crave profit, some crave pleasure. It's normal for officials to love money.
You're encouraging officials to be corrupt.
If officials are corrupt, there are inspectors to monitor and impeach them. If the evidence is verified, the law will punish them. I don't need to worry about it.
You even use corrupt officials, and you say you're not a foolish ruler.
Then let me ask you, how many honest officials have there been throughout history? How many corrupt officials are there? Then I won't force the Empress Dowager.
Honest officials are as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. They are few and far between. Corrupt officials are as numerous as the sands of the Yellow River. Countless.
Let me ask you again. Are honest officials always good? Are corrupt officials always bad?
Honest officials are naturally good. Corrupt officials are naturally bad.
An honest official is just incorruptible. It doesn't mean they are capable. What I want is an official who, during their tenure, enriches the people. I am not afraid of their corruption, nor am I afraid of their forming cliques. What I fear is those who do not fulfill their duties, and those who occupy a position and do nothing.
Even if what you say makes sense, isn't it a fact that we harm each other?
I, as the emperor, harm my own people. What do you mean by that?
The flood disaster in Jiangnan, didn't you order to use wheat bran and rice husks for disaster relief?
Yes.
Isn't that the act of a foolish ruler?
During the flood disaster in Jiangnan, the national treasury was running short on grain. I also heard that 1 pound of rice could be exchanged for 3 pounds of wheat bran. That's why I made this poor decision. The grain that could originally save 1 person can now save 3 people.
But you forcibly recruited the people to build the Ascension platform, Jade Terrace and Leopard House. Isn't that enslaving the people?
What a coincidence. The very people who built the Ascension platform, Jade Terrace and Leopard House, are coming today to present me with the umbrella of the people. Why don't you ask them? Su Haixan and the others came in.
Zhu Shuman observed.
You too. Someone said I am enslaving you. You tell them. Am I enslaving you?
Nonsense. Who's talking rubbish? Daring to slander His Majesty. Since ancient times, during wars and labor, people have always brought their own food. Which emperor would give money to the people? Give money? What money? We are building the Ascension platform, Yao Terrace, and Leopard House. We can receive 2 or 3 taels of silver each month, enough to support a family for 3 or 4 months. If this is considered forced labor, then we are willing to be enslaved for a lifetime. Your Majesty is a wise ruler throughout the ages. We present the people's umbrella as a token of our appreciation.
Your Majesty, you look really handsome today.
It's rare to hear such praise from my beloved consort.
By the way, Your Majesty, are you really going to use corrupt officials to govern the country?
The Yangtze River is clear, the Yellow River is turbid, but both the Yangtze and the Yellow River can irrigate millions of acres on both sides. Therefore, we shouldn't favor one for its clarity, or discard the other for its turbidity.
But, corrupt officials harm the country. Once it becomes a trend, what if the people can't bear the oppression, and rise up in rebellion?
When the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers flood, they both need to be controlled. This is actually similar to punishing corrupt officials. I am looking for an opportunity to find this corrupt official, killing the chicken to scare the monkey.
So, does your Majesty plan to execute a batch every now and then, to intimidate others?
Looking through history, as long as there is power, corruption cannot be completely eradicated. Even in times of clear governance, such phenomena exist. It's like chives, one wave after another, you can never finish cutting them. Actually, this is quite good.
How can this be good?
Look, when public anger is high, I execute a corrupt official, to alleviate public anger and maintain social stability. And by the way, confiscate the corrupt official's property. Doesn't the money eventually return to the court?
Your Majesty is letting the fish grow by leaving the water.
Sister, this guy is really bad.
I'm even worse.
Prime Minister, we've been tricked. The foolish emperor kept us in the palace, and took the opportunity to swap the commander of the Imperial Guards. Now we can't control the Imperial Guards anymore.
I didn't expect this. Chasing geese all day long, only to have the goose peck my eye. I, an old man, am being played around by a foolish emperor.
The foolish emperor is quite the actor. But Prime Minister, what should we do now?
He wants to fight with me. He's still too green.
Prime Minister, what is the plan?
During today's court meeting, Ethan Chin's performance was astonishing, but only within the court. In the eyes of the common people, he is still a foolish ruler.
The Prime Minister's intention is to continue arranging people to defame the foolish ruler. Master, something terrible has happened. A newspaper has appeared in the capital, publishing everything that happened in the palace today, in full detail.
This is outrageous. You forced me, you forced me.
I didn't expect that old fox Smithley would be manipulated by you, the little fox.
I am the little fox, you are such a vixen. We are a perfect match.
What nonsense are you talking about? I am the imperial concubine.
The Yu dynasty's imperial concubine couldn't bear the rumors among the people.
She ended her own life.
This matter has already made it to the Yu dynasty daily.
Did you plan this all along?
I put in a lot of effort to win you over. I really put in a lot of effort to win you over.
You have so many concubines in your harem. Each one is as beautiful as a flower. Why do you keep pursuing me relentlessly? You have so many concubines in your harem. Each one is as beautiful as a flower. Why do you keep chasing after me?
Meeting you is a stroke of luck in life. I will never let this encounter go to waste. The luckiest thing in my life is meeting you. If it weren't for you, how could I have become the emperor?
Sweet talk.
I am sincere. The two of us began at first sight and will end in old age.
Smooth talker.
Your Majesty, what is this? This is a mortar newly developed by the Ministry of Works, a type of long-range strike weapon.
What is a long-range strike weapon?
Fire the cannon.
What an amazing weapon.
I have ordered the Ministry of Works to make 50,000 muskets, 300,000 grenades, 1,000 mortar shells, and 300,000 cannonballs. With these powerful weapons, what are your chances of defeating the Northern Yuan and the Wo Kingdom?
Your Majesty, with these weapons, I am fully confident of defeating the Northern Yuan and the Wo Kingdom.
Good, but full confidence is not enough.
Your Majesty, what do you mean by this?
I demand not only that you defeat the Northern Yuan and the Wo nation, but also that you leave all 300,000 troops of the Wo nation in Yuandong.
Why must the Wo troops be left behind?
The Wo nation has coveted our China for a long time, always attempting to invade and occupy our territory. Their ambitions are clear as day. This time, I want to give them a bloody lesson, to let them know that those who offend our Shia will be punished, no matter how far.
I will definitely leave the 300,000 troops of the Wo nation in Yuandong.
No captives will be taken from the 300,000 Wo troops. After killing them all, build a Jingguan and engrave it as a reminder. I want the people of the Wo Kingdom to remember for generations the cost of offending my Shia kingdom.
I obey your command.
The Prime Minister is getting on in years, yet he still works tirelessly for state affairs every day. I truly cannot bear it.
Therefore,
I have decided to form a cabinet, appoint officials from the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Personnel, and Ministry of Rights, the 4 ministers of the Ministry of Personnel to join the cabinet, to assist the Prime Minister in handling state affairs.
Your Majesty, I think, it might not be appropriate.
Oh, Prime Minister, why do you think it's inappropriate?
As the saying goes, a household may have 1,000 members, but only one person can be in charge. With so many new members added to the cabinet, who is in charge of these affairs?
The Prime Minister is the chief assistant. Naturally, the Prime Minister takes the lead. Other cabinet members are responsible for assisting. I mainly hope to help you solve problems and difficulties.
Then what do the cabinet members do?
The functions of the cabinet are divided into 2. One is to draft memorials to the throne, providing preliminary opinions. The second is to approve them, making final decisions.
Who drafts? Who approves?
Naturally, the Prime Minister approves. Cabinet members are responsible for drafting.
I dare to ask, Your Majesty, if our opinions differ, what should be done then?
The cabinet consists of 5 people in total. If there's a disagreement with the Prime Minister, a vote can be held. The majority opinion will prevail. If the Prime Minister still finds it inappropriate, the final decision-making power can be handed over to me. I will make the final decision. That's very good.
Very good.
Prime Minister, you must lead the cabinet to handle state affairs well, help me solve problems, so I can be at ease, and take a few concubines down to the south of the Yangtze River, to enjoy the great rivers and mountains of the Yu dynasty.
Relieving Your Majesty's worries is my duty.
Prime Minister, you said the foolish king established the cabinet. What exactly is the intention?
The foolish emperor wants to abolish the chancellor system, to strip me of my power.
But the cabinet members all follow the chancellor's lead. How is this different from the chancellor being in charge?
While that may be true, everyone has their own interests. There are always those who don't want to be controlled by me.
Oh, Chancellor? I have always been loyal. I follow the Chancellor's orders without question. I have no ulterior motives.
That's very good.
Prime Minister, will the foolish emperor really go to Jiangnan?
If the foolish emperor truly goes to Jiangnan, I will make sure he never returns.
Replacing the Chancellor system with a cabinet system, Your Majesty, this move is indeed brilliant, but why let Smithley's faction enter the cabinet?
The Privy Envoy is about to set out on an expedition. The court must not have any disturbances. Stability is paramount.
Even if we want to stabilize the court, Your Majesty should appoint 1 or 2 trusted aides into the cabinet to balance the treacherous Chancellor.
Oh, Empress, you still don't understand human nature.
What does Your Majesty mean by this?
Now all the cabinet members hold the highest positions, who would still be willing to be subordinate to others. If Smithley wants to dominate the discourse, that's fine, once, twice, but there won't be a third or fourth time. He wants to have absolute control. Within 2 months, his close associates will become disloyal.
I understand. His Majesty is using an open strategy. Whether Smithley takes the bait or not, his power will be greatly diminished.
This is His Majesty's plan to disrupt his core supporters, right?
Strictly speaking, it's to disrupt his core and bind his hands and feet. Now, if Smithley wants to do whatever he pleases, it's impossible.
So what does His Majesty plan to do with Smithley next?
Although Smithley is ambitious and holds sway over the court, he is indeed a rare and capable minister. It's just a pity he was born in the wrong era.
And encountered me. So, Your Majesty is planning to let Smithley go?
I am not someone who cannot tolerate others. If Smithley is willing to be loyal to the court, I will ensure his prosperity and wealth for the rest of his life.
Wouldn't that be letting the treacherous minister off too easily?
Consort, let me ask you, what is loyalty, and what is treachery?
Loyalty to the emperor is loyalty. Betraying the emperor is treachery.
But if I am truly a foolish ruler, wouldn't being loyal to me harm and oppress the people, even to the point of abusing them? Can that be considered loyalty?
That definitely doesn't count.
Exactly, so there's never a fixed standard for loyalty. Different perspectives mean different loyalties and betrayals.
One man's honey is another man's poison.
The human heart is the most changeable. Today's great traitor could very well be tomorrow's loyal subject, and today's loyal subject may not necessarily be tomorrow's a person of great treachery and evil.
People's ambitions grow step by step.
Right, that's why there are no eternal friends, nor eternal enemies, only eternal consorts.
So, Your Majesty handed over state affairs to the cabinet. Are you planning to let go of everything?
The court is stable now. Actually, with or without me, it's the same. The earth will keep turning no matter who is gone.
Your Majesty is not handling state affairs. What are you planning to do next?
I plan to continue being a muddle-headed ruler.
Your Majesty has just shaken off the reputation of being a muddle-headed ruler. Why repeat the same mistake?
There's no choice. With 2 such stunning beauties by my side, what else can I do?
Your Majesty is pretending again. Tell me, what exactly are you trying to do?
I want to be a carpenter.
Why give up being a good emperor? Your Majesty, why do you want to become a craftsman?
I am planning to personally oversee the construction of 1,000 dragon boats and take you all to the south of the Yangtze River to appreciate the beauty of the Yu Dynasty's mountains and rivers and to collect rare treasures.
But Your Majesty, traveling to the south of the Yangtze River is extremely costly. The people will surely complain and suffer greatly.
Of course, I know, building the canal will require a lot of manpower, resources, and finances, but I have no choice but to do this.
Why?
Because building the canal will drive many ancillary industries. This is the only way to make the people prosperous.
So in order to make the people prosperous, you are willing to be seen as a foolish ruler.
Let the world insult me, slander me, deceive me, I will just endure it, tolerate it, and let it be. My achievements and failures, I'll leave it to future generations to judge.
Foolish emperor, it's truly infuriating.
Although the foolish emperor established the cabinet, the power of decision making still lies with the prime minister. Nothing has changed. Why should the prime minister be angry?
Haven't you noticed? These past few days, several cabinet ministers and I have been at odds with each other.
They are simply dissatisfied with the prime minister rejecting their proposals. Nothing unusual.
This is the insidiousness of the foolish emperor, creating discord between the cabinet ministers and me.
So what should we do?
What has the foolish emperor been doing these days?
He's been spending all day with craftsmen building a dragon boat. It seems he really intends to go to Jiangnan.
This foolish ruler is laying out a plan, hiding his intentions over 1,000 miles. Hiding his intentions over 1,000 miles. He must be plotting to frame me.
I don't think so. This foolish ruler hasn't even been attending to state affairs these days. He's only focused on building dragon boats. I heard he hired tens of thousands of people, and built over 1,000 boats at the same time.
Impossible. Absolutely impossible. There must be a conspiracy in this.
Prime Minister, what should we do now?
If we can't solve the problem, we solve the people who create the problem.
What do you mean, Prime Minister?
I have no choice either. Are you willing to follow me?
I will certainly follow your lead, Prime Minister.
Good. Once I conquer the world, I will not let you down.
Thank you, Prime Minister, but the Imperial Guards are not under our control. We can't do anything about the foolish Emperor.
We have another ally. You connive.
Yes, Prime Minister, now you should call me Chief Minister.
How has the prince been lately?
No need for you to worry, I have plenty to eat and drink. Here.
Why does your highness have to pretend to be strong?
Prime Minister, aren't you also pretending to be more capable than you are?
It seems we are in the same boat.
So, tell me, what brings you to me?
I would like to collaborate with your highness this once. If successful, I will reward you with the position of regent. What do you think, your highness?
Prime Minister, tell me your plan.
I heard that your highness has some secret agents in the palace.
Your Majesty, this is the perfect tonic soup.
Oh, a man's maintenance really needs to be done all the time.
Your Majesty, someone come, quickly summon the Imperial Physician. Your Majesty, Imperial Physician.
Prime Minister, the Prime Minister is overjoyed. News from the palace. The Emperor is unconscious. The Empress ordered the palace gates to be sealed.
Ha ha ha, good, just a naive and incompetent emperor dares to fight against me.
So, Prime Minister, what should we do next?
Summon all the civil and military officials, enter the palace to pay respect. Ha ha ha.
Imperial Physician, what's wrong with His Majesty?
Your Majesty, His Majesty's pulse is weak and feeble. I'm afraid the prognosis is not good.
What?
Get out. The Empress, His Majesty is seriously ill. We should establish a crown prince soon.
His Majesty has no heirs, who should be established as the crown prince.
His Majesty has no heirs, the late king's brothers have been demoted to commoners, the Yu dynasty has no successors. I suggest His Majesty abdicate.
Abdicate to whom?
Naturally, abdicate to me.
Smith-Lee, you are very bold, you actually want to usurp the throne.
I am also thinking for the Yu dynasty, for the country and its people.
What a noble thought for the country and its people of the Yu dynasty. Even if His Majesty and the late Emperor had no brothers, the Emperor's grandfather still has descendants. It's not your turn.
What I want to do, no one can stop me.
Are you planning a rebellion? Guards, arrest this traitor for me.
Ha ha ha.
Are you all deaf? Guards!
You don't need to shout, this palace is already under my control.
Impossible. The Imperial Guards in the palace are all controlled by His Majesty's confidants. How could you possibly control the palace?
All I need is to control the palace.
You entered the palace alone. How can you control the chamber?
The officials who came with me were all disguised by the loyal warriors of Prince Jin.
You.
Please, Empress, use your seal.
Smithly, you're dreaming.
Whether you want to or not, you'll have to seal it. Tell me, where is the Imperial seal?
Prime Minister, the Imperial seal is naturally in my hands.
You're actually unharmed.
You should ask Minister Zhong about this.
You betrayed me.
You old fool. The current emperor, his civil and military achievements are unparalleled in history. He is a great ruler of his time. I am a high-ranking official of the court. How could I collude with you? Where does this talk of betrayal come from?
None of you will survive today, guards. Kill them all for me. Kill them. I said kill them. Why are you not acting?
All right, my dear concubine, don't tease the Prime Minister.
What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be fighting the Northern Yuan in Yuandong?
I forgot to inform the Prime Minister. 10 days ago, we received a triumphant report from Yuandong. Our army won a great victory. We annihilated 300,000 soldiers of the Wuguo.
Impossible.
The Northern Yuan has an army of 100,000.
Yu dynasty is no match for the Northern Yuan.
Sir, times have changed. Now compared to firearms, cold weapons are simply crushed.
Impossible. You're lying to me.
At this point, why would I lie to you?
Could it be Prince Jin is also in cahoots with you?
Prince Jin is of royal blood. Would he just watch as the Yu dynasty changes hands?
I didn't expect after years of planning, it would all fall apart, lost to an incompetent ruler like you.
You didn't lose to me, you lost to yourself.
Why did I lose to myself?
I gave you so many chances. If you had just taken a step back, I would have ensured your life of wealth and honor, but you refused. Greed knows no bounds. You're digging your own grave.
It's you, step by step. You're pushing me to rebel.
All right, enough. It's useless to say these things now. Smith Lee, just give in a little now. I'll let you choose your way to die. Smith Lee.
Even if I die, I won't let you have it easy.
If the Empress is harmed even slightly, I'll exterminate your entire clan.
What difference does it make if you exterminate 10 clans? After I'm dead, who cares if there's a flood?
Are you really planning to go down together?
Even if I die, I won't let you have it easy.
The imperial decree is issued. Smith Lee has committed treason. Exterminate his entire clan. Exterminate his entire clan. Minister of Personnel, Zhang Han. Reported meritorious deeds. Appointed as the chief minister. Prince Jin reported meritorious deeds. Restoration of the royal title. Immediately assigned to fief.